Yeah, we're just waiting on the initial jobless claims and the revision of the GDP. Brenda will have that for you guys in a second once he gets mic'd up. But big earnings yesterday from Nvidia. Wow, up well over 7%, and Taiwan Semi as well moving up with it. Keep your eyes on semis today after Nvidia reported yesterday, guys. Big move up. Market in the green. 19,000 coming into play here on the NQ futures contract. I'll bring that for you in. This is all-time highs, up well over 1%. We'll have to see if this 19,000 level can hold on the day. We closed out yesterday well below 18.8 actually, so we're 200 points above the level now, Brenda.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I'm actually still waiting for this to populate in front of me here. I saw 225 on that initial jobless claims number this morning. We'll scroll back up here after I refreshed it. Yeah, we're still waiting for these to populate, so we'll bring that to you when we can. But yeah, so much to talk about this morning. Taiwan Semiconductor moving around, as you mentioned. Nvidia just absolutely monstrous, along with Snowflake. There's more headlines on Tesla this morning. This Shanghai battery factory, not only a thing, but going to be very, very productive for them, or they're expecting it to be very, very productive for them. Here goes Nvidia through session highs right now, 7.3% on the back of that 10-for-1 split. Going to be trading around $100. So that's not bad, once again.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, Brendo. So much to talk about with this one.
Where's the jacket, by the way?
I know. Neil already pointed it out. I made a mistake. I was slow this morning. I know. I'm sorry, guys. That's on me. I'll make up for it somehow, some way. I actually left it in the car, so I can't even go back.
Okay. But, you didn't drive today, though?
No, I did not drive.
That's a problem. Pretty impressive, guys. I mean, Sean, that was one of the most, I think, eventful and exciting recap shows last night. So many people watching, first of all. But when that number came out, man, what a move in not only the stock itself, but the market overall.
Brendan, yeah, we always talk about, the pride we take in all these shows. And I think that we really, last night, nailed that. I mean, that was a great release. We had just the people kept piling in. I want to thank Danielle Shea for coming through as well. I mean, that was exciting tonight. Neil will be taking over the reins on the recap show when you won't have NVIDIA and we'll have something else. I have no idea. I haven't even looked. Yeah, no, we're super,
not NVIDIA is the answer.
Not NVIDIA is the answer, yeah. But, there'll be other things. Yeah, no, look, we're really excited as well. I mean, the NASDAQ's really starting to rip up here, 1.21%. NVIDIA gave you everything that we had talked about and more, right? They gave you the dividend increase, which isn't that much. They gave you the stock split. They gave you a beat everywhere. Guide, EPS, so there it is. It's 7.2%. But the thing is, the implied move was 8%. So you're still under what was expected. So the options market has it priced out almost perfectly with a 7% move. Look, yesterday we got really excited and tried to go long at where was it? Well, I don't even remember what it was yesterday. 960? So right now we're huge. I mean, the long was completely right, but we still dropped out after yesterday. So let's wait to see if we can find some levels here for NVIDIA. But yeah, I'm super excited. If we can get a dip back into 1,000, could be possible. I'm not really sure how it's going to react in the first couple minutes.
Yeah.
Like I said, they've missed. The pricing is off, right? And so it's only up 7%. Options are going to play a piece early. And now I got to move over. You know what I'm noticing? Now I got to move this over. Well, I got to move over my size here because now I have to see 4, 5, 6 digits here, right? I got the size plus we're now 5, 6 digits in the price.
Not for long.
If I go AMC, that solves the problem. Now I don't have too many digits on the AMC chart.
Yeah, you're never gonna have that problem on your level 2 with AMC stock. It's never gonna be at $1,000. Although stranger things have happened, but you know what? Why everyone gets excited for the Super Bowl of earnings is because when Nvidia does that, it drags everybody to the upside. TSM just made an all-time high, up 3%. Obviously, the NASDAQ is at that 19,000 level, as Sharif already talked about, but let's not forget about everybody else that gets to benefit from this. Microsoft just also made a fresh all-time high. I haven't double-checked to see that it's holding it, but I'm going to make the assumption if we're taking 19,000, it still is. These guys are on my radar. At the end of the day, they get to make everything, so they're going to benefit just by, the 420 some odd percent data center growth. We talked about when we're at lunchtime, when we're talking about and teeing up NVIDIA, We had mentioned they need 26 billion. They gave you exactly that for revenue, and the growth numbers are insane. The guidance was great, like all of it. So you're going to see TSM to the upside. We were asked yesterday, what do we think about ARM as like a proxy play? It's like, well, I mean, Nvidia is the one that's going the most, rightfully so, but there's nothing wrong with ARM trying to take out key levels. If ARM gets through 120 today, that could absolutely fly. We'll see. Like if Nvidia is able to punch through, I like that ARM at 120. There's just going to be a lot to look at in the chip space. The only thing that I guess kind of messed with my cornflakes this morning was Alibaba with a potential raise, so they're down. But even that's bounced a little bit. So most of everything else is good news today. I mean, Snowflake reported as well. They're up. We'll probably mention that a few times, but obviously it's a chip day today. What are we going to say?
All right, we were talking about GFS. Sharif and I were just talking about GlobalFoundries here. Downside to the tune of more than 7% this morning. 950 million notional worth of a secondary offering coming through on GlobalFoundries. It's not that big. I mean, it's 1.7 million shares, but priced way down here, priced at 50.75. So big move after the close downside on that, while everything else in tech land anyways was up huge with Nvidia, but not everything looking so rosy today.
No, an interesting look here because 80% of the company, GFS here, is owned by the Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund. So it's almost like a private company trading 20% of the float publicly. They said they're going to buy back about 200 million shares. At least that's what they've been authorized to buy back. Doesn't really say when they're going to do it. As of today, though, Brendo, with this 7.5% drop, it's down at 9.5% year to date.
Yeah, not a lot of volume behind this. It's worth noting this morning so far, but a decent amount after the close yesterday. So we'll see if this continues here, guys, sitting at 51 bucks essentially right now.
Yeah, so for all the day traders out there, I think like the first week of trading for GlobalFoundries was when you could actually day trade this thing. And then since then, it is a completely, okay, I mean, maybe there's a strategy out there that works for somebody. I'm just sort of saying the volume is very, very low on this name. It's not that it doesn't move, and it's not that it doesn't give you like normal-looking opportunities, but it's very difficult stock to day trade just based on liquidity. Even with that news, it's done 180,000. Remember, the chips are in play today. It's done 180,000 in volume with a 20-cent spread on a $50 stock. If you only looked at the daily chart, you'd say, but when this thing finds a support level or resistance, it's easy. Yeah, but then getting into position and then what happens if it breaks are the two questions you've got to ask yourself. So it's at the 50 period. It was this and then like Mobileye that I never liked the movement of, and getting out of things that weren't moving sometimes makes a lot of sense, even in your long-term account, to put it elsewhere, even if it's just going to be the Qs. So I don't know that this is a name that I'm interested in for the day trade. That said, 50 is a good level. 46 has been a pretty good one as well. Like it's getting down to places where it's just bounced every single time it's been under $50 GFS. It's just a matter of how much it rallies for you when it does go. I mean, look how strong the overall market has been. NASDAQ at fresh highs, anything chip related at fresh highs. GlobalFoundries kind of headed in the other direction. So it doesn't get me remotely excited about the stock, but if you liked it, then I would suppose underneath 50 has been the place to buy it.
Yeah, GFS really hasn't gotten me too excited about anything. We don't really trade that name, but again, another interesting story into the space. We could check out ARM just real quick. I mean, we're going to be looking at all these names, but moving good, but another 4% name here. A lot of these names catching some tailwinds, obviously, from this Nvidia quarter, and it looks like ARM is getting ready to go as well, trying to break through this 120. I don't think it happens today, but this is another level where there's the report, and then now you're getting all that garbage out of here, and it's just that great break back up above on ARM. So like maybe it's not 120, maybe it's 122 or something, but either way, we're getting real close to this name probably breaking out higher again, and then we wait for more news about SoftBank. But the space is what it is, man. SMH, we've been looking at that for a while. We've been buying all the dips in this, and this has been, again, one of the biggest names to trade over the last couple of weeks. I mean, straight from 200 up to 250, and looks like it continues to want to go. So SMH, SOX, L, so many different derivatives and so many different ways of playing what this AI space is and what's been happening with NVIDIA and the GPUs and just everything. SOX L up another 8%. I mean, boom. Look at this, $30 to $53, 55, looking to take out these highs today. Neil mentioned TSM. There's just so many different things to look at. Sticky note is out, and we're ready to rock.
All right, a few other earnings names moving around here. VF Corp downside initially after their report after the close yesterday. There's a long, long list, though, of analyst moves this morning. This thing actually trying to bounce right now, back to 1140, 1150 right now. I mean, there's 10 at least that I see, mostly negative on the analyst side of things. Yeah, it was a loss, a surprise Q4 loss and revenue miss for VF Corp.
Exactly, Brendo. They missed on the top and bottom line here. Not a good look. We've seen other apparel retailers have trouble. Under Armour had issues. Calvin Klein as well with the report not too long ago that also had issues. So missing on the top line, missing on the bottom line. This is the company that owns Vans, the North Face, Timberland, as well as others. So a bit of a tougher look. We'll have to see how they do, down 7.5.
Another one here just popping up in front of me, actually. Hasbro, not a lot of volume here, but just took out that high, I guess, from yesterday. Maybe some volume came in on that. JP Morgan going to overweight from neutral on Hasbro this morning to 63.
That's an interesting
Hasbro?
One. It seems so very, okay. I was going to say, like, Hasbro, that's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. Another stock that is probably not a day trade. The VFC, sorry, that could oddly be tradable, though I thought with that kind of a move, there'd be more pre-market volume. It just feels like everybody, when I say everybody, it's all the action and all the pre-market volume is in NASDAQ and tech-related chip names, and pretty much everyone else is getting the shaft regardless of the news they have going on. But like Hasbro's been a good performing stock. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It would have been VFC, if anything, that would be a little bit more interesting. It's got a very clean and clear defined trend, rejecting the 50. It did actually bounce somewhat this morning. It was down around $10, looking like it was going to flat bottom break a $10 level, and it has recovered. So I don't know if this is going to be. I would have thought if it was consolidating down there, there'd be a chance that this could fall apart a little bit. But it's already bounced a buck, which is more than I had realized. So I don't know if there's going to be any kind of a breakdown on VFC anymore, and it won't open SSR either because it's now only down 7.5%. So clearly not good, but that's a pretty decent rally that they've managed to put in on 800,000 or so volume. Keep an eye on it. If it gets to like $12, I would suppose that's where it broke down. Support turning into resistance. But I don't know, everything I'm looking at is chips and crypto, because the other thing that we haven't even mentioned yet is 4,000 incoming on ETH. And we're still pretty much at the 70,000 level on Bitcoin, like just underneath that. So both those two things could break out as well through key levels. So, you know, crypto, chips, that's where it's at today. Maybe a little bit of Tesla as well.
Maybe a little bit of Dogecoin, 16.7.
I don't have a Doge
16
button.
cents 70 on Dogecoin. Look, VFC Corp, interesting name here for sure. The one thing I want to highlight to everybody, it does have an 11% short float, so that could get going there. It's down 35% year to date. That's nasty. Still a $5 billion market cap. Probably will get a little bit of a haircut, but I do like these bounces, especially if we can get back down in here into 10, 10.50. I think you come back in and then boom to the upside. Let the shorts try to cover a little bit, and maybe, you know, the stock falls when people are not happy with the report. As I said, down 35% year to date. No one can be. You probably sell if you're waking up and you see this move down to 10, and now you get a little bit of a relief rally up to 11.50. So for me, we always like to play fades back to VWAP. And this name, again, CEO talking about you know, new plans, trying to raise 600 million. It's in our watch list here. Generating 600 million free cash flow is what they're looking to do in the fiscal coming year. So let's see if the new plan, give the new CEO a chance here. But VFC, definitely a SSR bounce play with a short float of 11%. I think it's worth being on everyone's radar. If you have a little bit less capital, maybe it's only an $11 name. Could get a good opportunity down here in and around 10, 10.80 to see if it holds. And then you might want to just let it happen and then wait for that move back up, because we saw the other day Macy's. We had this play, I think it was, I don't know if it was 1850. Come on, chart update. But at the beginning of the day here, Macy's, where was it? Maybe it was this day that they reported. But anyways, it started to make a move down and then it started to bust back up late. So wait for sometimes a base to happen and then you can get a pullback. Yeah, so this was the earnings there. Bound into 18.7 and then a pullback in. So I could sort of see the same type of thing. Wait for a pullback into, this is Macy's, but wait for a pullback into VF Corp and maybe we'll get a bump there, 11% short.
There he is, Luis Barbato, joining us from the Real Trading office over in Barcelona, Spain, for a look at some of the high flyers so far this morning. Good morning, Luis. How are you?
Good morning, Brennan. We're good. We're good, ready to go here in Barcelona.
Yeah, it's a lot to look at this morning, coming off these Nvidia numbers last night, the entire market catching quite the bid on that. That said, when it comes to small cap land today, it's a little bit quiet. It's been, quite the couple of weeks here with lots of high flyers, lots of meme names, if you want to talk about that entire group moving around. Sharif and I were just talking about that Faraday future, all the way back to almost $1 once again. So a lot of, the air coming out of some of these rallies. What are you looking at so far today?
Well, as you said, it's been kind of 2 crazy weeks. First, like a couple of weeks ago, we have some crazy runners that ignite the runner cycle again. And we had a lot of craziness with FFIE and some other stocks running, as you say, from $1 to 40 and all the way back. It seemed it's over. It seemed it's over, at least for today. And yesterday also, we had a kind of a quiet day, only with MGOL and MGRX, the only 2 tickers kind of running yesterday and flying. But today it's pretty dry. So we don't have a lot to trade so far in the small caps. Only a stock we are looking, ONMD, is a 11 million float share, trading already 30 million, so 3 times rotating the float, moving up 160%, and not really near resistance, at least until 190 or something like that. So let's see. It is true that this is a stock with a historical fading historic, it gap up and historically, statistically, it fade all the way down. So let's see where we can find the backside on this one.
You make a really good point in that, a lot of traders can get stuck in that when it is very busy and there's a lot of action and a lot to look at and a lot of trades to make, you kind of want to come in the next day and do the same thing and the same thing and the same thing. Maybe talk a little bit about being able to switch gears on days when you go from that big crazy run to, it is what it is, right? And I mean, you put it perfectly. There's not much to look at.
You said right. I mean, there are some traders that are able to adapt to change the strategy. So if we are in a runner cycle, they try to go long, they try to break highs and so on. And there are other traders where I consider myself in this group that we don't try to change the strategy. We just try to manage the risk, lower the size, be more patient for entries and for the exits. You know what I mean? I try not to change the strategy and, let's say, go in the breakouts or go in very sharply with the trend or, but I try to adapt my size for a cycle, a market cycle that is not working very good for my strategy. I lower my size, I wait more patiently for the entry, but I don't change my style. I think that for me, it's much more difficult to change your strategy and your style than just manage and adapt your risk for every moment.
There's a couple of smaller earnings names that I was having a look at early on this morning. When it comes to those types of plays, still smaller on the market cap, but moving based off of a fundamental, report in earnings, might be downside, might be higher. Not typically the same type of idea or not typically the same type of trade as when you get these super high volume, super volatile, small cap runners.
No, not the same idea. As you say, first of all, if it's a blue chip, a big cap, I don't even trade it, like Nvidia today, for example. I don't even look at it, $1,000 stock. I know we can go very small and manage the trade, but it's not my edge on these kind of stocks. But when it comes to, like you say, mid caps or medium stocks, medium companies giving earnings. What I try to find out is look at the level 2, look at the time and sales, very, very focused for the first 5-10 minutes of the day. And if I see some noise and some edge on the level 2 that it can give me fast fills and good fills, on the bid and on the offer, I try to scalp this kind of stocks. If it's trending, if I don't see a lot of movement and noise and volume in the level 2 and time and sales, I just avoid it, this kind of linear movements. You know what I mean?
All right, maybe some real-time analysis here. CYTO just popping up, 847. There was a headline that came through on Saito, which is Altamira Therapeutics. There was positive results from a phase 2 trial here. It's fading out pretty quickly, but nice pop for CYTO here.
Yeah, very nice pump and dump, quite fast. It did one, I think was 23rd of April, same movement, 140, 220, 220, 140 in few minutes. It just happened again. It has some historical criminal record, as I like to say, these kind of movements. We have another one on 25th of March, 170, 360, and all the way back. So when you see this kind of movement and it's repeating over the time in the stock, it has some statistical edge going short against these pumps. And most of the days, even pre-market like now, it just fade off all the way down in a few minutes sometimes.
I mean, the market's always providing lessons, and I think there's a good one to be learned in that, if you're the type of the trader that looks for those volatile, high volume runners, small cap runners, on days when they just aren't there, they aren't there. Because a lot of people, let's be honest, today are going to be focused on some of the bigger cap stocks. So great stuff, as always. Luis Barbedo joining us from the Real Trading office over in Barcelona, Spain. Stay safe today, Luis. Good luck.
We stay safe. ONMD, while we are talking, is breaking highs again and trading another 5 million shares. So it's the only ticker we have. So let's squeeze it out.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much, Brendan. See you.
Thank you, Luis. One thing pointing out for that, like that ONMD, and why I think Luis was mentioning the 190 level, not the 150 level on ONMD's daily chart here, is look at the volume. If we can quickly come to the chart, the volume difference between this little spike, where most of the volume was back on the way down the following day, as opposed to when it tested this $192 area and then again tested like the $192 area. Like you're getting outsized volume on those moves to the upside. So those are obviously more significant levels. It seems like it's just chewing right through this one. So looking at that $2 level, it's probably gonna be pay for shorts on that, but I would imagine real trading, it's relatively cheap just to get a notion. But yes, you stay in your lane. This one's doing actual volume. Good look there. Randy, the market's saying yes. No? Really? Nvidia up 7% is not good enough?
Nope. We called 8 yesterday, did we not?
Well, that was the expectation, was 8. But it's over 1,000. You got the split. They had blowout earnings. You had everything you would have wanted.
On Nvidia, Randy.
I know. Boo.
I mean, Sharif already promised the black jacket. That didn't happen, so that's one. Now you're a Debbie Downer over here.
I'm wearing green
on
today.
Nvidia. Like, I thought we were all going to come and be like, yay, market.
No.
And then I get this no thing. We're so excited for the black jacket.
We love it.
At least we had Luis. I mean, Luis was very positive. He wasn't saying no. Oh, yeah, watch this. Watch this. Polestar. No. Okay, okay.
Okay, but the Polestar delayed their earnings. That's a legit no right there. Yeah, we're not going to report
yet. Did he get
yet.
filled on that bid yet?
Oh, it's like 95 cents.
Oh, so that's why he's saying no.
Yeah, oh, that's a legit no.
Yeah, so
that's a real no.
Randy stuck long 6 million shares. Here's Polestar right here. Down to 94 cents there. So you're down 10 cents on 6 mil. No wonder the guy's a little upset right now. Well, it broke back below $1, eh?
Yeah.
This name, wow, Polestar.
It might be a good dollar short today.
I know. I wanted to, thanks, Luis, for coming through. But before Randy came through, I just wanted to say, like, GameStop still has, we just talked about, some names that potentially squeezing through. I mean, GameStop still has $20 that it's had a problem breaking, and it's been a great hold. And there's been moves in GameStop, both, midday, at the beginning. Like, there's opportunities in these names. And I just, whether or not they moon, per se, or not, they're still giving you opportunities throughout the day. So, you know, AMC down here, it looks like 450, not 4 is going to be where we sort of jump off from. Look at that move at the end of the day with a lot of increased volume. So obviously there's traders in here trying to do something with this. So I like AMC. You know, this 450, it held all afternoon. I mean, today, market up 1.21%. I could see some of the shine, obviously, has come off these names. But at the same time, when you get a 10% move like that, or maybe it was even more, that's 450, so 45 cents, yeah, up to 520. Yeah, 15% move or so, that's something to look at for AMC. So, you know, let's wait for some volume to pick back up in the name. It's already done 1 million shares here today. And just a quick look over at the imbalance locator, just to see. So there's Barnes & Noble, we had that yesterday. There's Palantir, which is on the sticky note today. Dell's having a monster day, and it's going to continue. I mean, anybody that's been long, forget about Nvidia. Well, don't forget about Nvidia, but Dell's move this year, this was $70 at the beginning of the year. It is 170, 160 today. So yeah, add 90 on 70, so you're up about 120% on Dell in 5 months, so that's real nice. Other than that, Fubo, we haven't heard of that in a while. That's above $1, so that might be something as well there today, but limited volume. So yeah, not much on the imbalance locator yet, but that Dell move, wow. We'll talk about that on the watch list as well, up 7% for Dell.
Absolutely, and let's go on over to ADRs, see some analyst upgrades. Oh, I'm shocked to see one of those names.
Not too surprising that Nvidia is #1 on this. Quite a few analyst price target increases, including Rosenblatt, raising their price target to $1,400. So not at all a bad look for NVDA after that knockout earnings report. Chubb getting this upgrade here from BofA Securities. Take-Two Interactive, they had their earnings last week. Now they're trading up about 2%, getting this upgrade also from BofA Securities. And last but not least, Bernstein upgrading Ford to end the upgrade side. Downgrades, Best Buy getting this downgrade from Telsey Advisory Group. Oppenheimer upgrading another recent earnings name here, Under Armour from last week. Generac getting downgraded here by JP Morgan Chase. And last but not least, Telsey Advisory Group downgrading VF Corporation after that earnings disappointment last night, guys.
I mean, I'd be interested in Take-Two there, but with only one upgrade from B of A, you know it takes two to make a thing go right. So unless it's getting 2 upgrades, then I'm not interested in that name. But Ford, okay, Ford's kind of boring, but Ford's got a new support level. Remember that $11 that held basically forever on Ford that recently broke? Actually, wow, time really flies. Like that $11 level broke, I thought it was this year. It was last year that broke that 11. It held for like over like a year and a half. But now it's got this $12 and the 50 period set in. So there's clearly some support down here on Ford. Every time it gets underneath 12, it seems like a bit of a buy. But what just kind of caught my attention was, I need to go to Bitcoin for you guys very quickly. I have an hour chart, so let me just go to a 3-minute. This just happened off of the 70,000 level on BTC. So a little bit of, let's not call it a plunge when we go down. You know, it's like 800 or so dollars on BTC, but that 70,000 level proving to be a little bit of resistance, just sort of checking in ETH. I always have hourly charts up for myself, but Ether as well, moving to the downside there. About 120 pulling back. I don't know if I saw or heard anything. I'll make sure my Benzing is actually turned on, but yeah, big move down or semi-decent move to the downside in both Ethereum and Bitcoin just now.
Yeah, so I paid, I didn't trade this. I might have traded this yesterday, but not much. I remember paying for short, so I did it again. They're really, really super cheap. I'm just kind of waiting for like Neil said, like either the next shoe to drop or something, but this has been a great tool with tons of volume on the OTC market. So like this is just the volume scanner from yesterday. You could see here, just looking at the trades from yesterday, this is something that we talk about with Jeff when he comes on the show here. You could see Ethereum yesterday, well, ETHE anyways, 17,000 trades, right? 6 million shares. Luckin Coffee, 7,000. So like if you're looking at the NASDAQ and anything like that, like this is, you know, this is like the Apple of OTC markets right now, and it's doing double, triple the volume of anything even close to it. Like there's Tencent, I don't even know, POFCY, I'm not even sure what some of these names are, Roche, Nintendo, Rolls-Royce. So, I mean, nothing's doing anything. Even that DIDI 2000 trades, like, this is not enough volume to trade with. So everything is going to Ethereum right now. So watch out for that. And as Jeff's mentioned before, Ethereum Classic is traded over there. There's LTCN, which is Litecoin. So there's a couple different opportunities. And then here at Real Trading, by the way, which you guys can be a part of. Oops, that zoomed in on Neil for some reason there. Hold on a second, let me go back. There it is. You can all be part of Real Trading here. We have a few of those markers as well in the crypto space right now. So join us here, our #1 sponsor, realtrading.com. Back over to the desk.
All right, 9 o'clock, let's get going here. A lot to discuss. We'll kick things off with a look at the market.
53.38, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES June contract. Well above that level now. We got to 53.68. Let's go ahead and say if we come down into the open, look for 53.50 as that level of support. That was the top over the last week or so. And so let's use that as support now. To the high side, it's a blue sky setup from here on in. Let's look at the 100-point level as resistance.
I have a favor to ask of anyone who has not done so yet. Go to the website right now, tradertv.live. Wait for that pop-up to appear. Enter your email address, and then we just do your homework for you. It's that easy, and then it just gets delivered right to your inbox in a nice, neat package, has everything you need to know on it every single morning. A lot to discuss here when it comes to NVIDIA, the split for one, but I mean, I was just going through some of these. There's at least 10. We saw one upgrade there on that board. I mean, I can count at least 10. Price targets, I mean, 1,400, I see is the top right now. 1180 to 1400 kind of range for some of these analysts.
I put the 1400 on because that was street high. I thought maybe people would get a kick out of that. All right, so I'm not going to belabor all the earnings, data points and metrics, but there's a couple that I want to point out. So their total revenue on the quarter was $26 billion. Of that $26 billion, 22.5 was data center only, which is about 85%. Then take 85%, about half of that is about 4 names, the hyperscalers. So a lot of concentrated revenue in the hands of a few companies here. That concerns me. Other than that, it was a fantastic beat. Data center revenue up 427% year over year.
Impressive, to say the least. What do we do here, guys? $1,000 and or $1,013 right now.
14.
Go short immediately.
14, 18, 20, 15. Like it's gonna fly around today. It's not to counter that the point by Shreve, just to give another perspective. One thing that was also said by the CEO, who wears a fancy leather jacket that I thought we'd maybe see a replica of today on the big desk, but apparently we're not going to. It is what it is. I was excited for it, and we're not going to see it. You have companies now essentially buying their product and then leasing it out or renting it out and turning a profit doing so, which is going to give them another avenue for growth or continued avenue for growth beyond the hyperscalers. So there is a yin to that yang in the broader sense. At the end of the day, like as Sean said, it didn't actually go that 8% that we were expecting, or that the market was expecting. I shouldn't say we're just looking at what the options market's pricing out. So I don't think you got that outside move that's blowing everybody out of the water for movement. So I think keeping it simple is gonna make at least some sense. I think if you look at a defense of the 1,000 level, I'm almost calling it 995 more than the 1,000, because I think that's the way you gotta treat NVIDIA today. If it defends $1,000, that's to me like 995 holding. And I do feel like if we break out and I miss it, this is a weird thing to say, if NVIDIA is breaking out the top today, I actually like ARM better through 120. And it's more, I like key levels. And when I look at ARM, it's so far away from the top. It's been higher lows into a consolidated top. It was a breakdown level at 120 that's turned into resistance. Like if we do go, instead of dip buy territory, we just go into breakout territory at the open, I feel like an explosive move is there for ARM, whereas NVIDIA is a little bit different. And it can be, because it's an inside day, if it's a choppy one, I don't think NVIDIA is going to be fun to trade on chop when it's $1,000. Worth pointing out, AMD's resistance turning into support on any weakness makes sense to me. I think any of the chip names, TSM is going to be in play today. You can look at that if you want, but I like AMD and ARM. So AMD's resistance was like at 168, 169. The irony of Randy bringing these is I was in the kitchen getting my coffee with Adara, and I was like, oh, these don't look very ripe yet.
I'm just doing counter everything.
I'm gonna pass on. I was gonna pass on it, but he brought it for me, so I'll eat it later. They're not that. You guys can't tell, but they're not that ripe.
Mine feels pretty good. The one he brought last time was as hard as a rock. This one feels.
It's not
much better. I didn't have it.
It feels better than it looks. How about that? I'm having it later.
Exactly. Okay, so for me, look, I mean, we talked about trying to play off VWAP. You asked, someone in the chat was saying, do we have anchored VWAP? I mean, you have to anchor it somewhere, so you got to figure out where to do that. For right now, yeah, holding 1,000. I mean, I don't really think there's a trade early on this. You know, yesterday we were trying to take away the top. I mean, I think you're going to probably run to that 1,020 right off the open for sure. Or you could run down to, for sure. Or you can get down to 1,000. Like, I just feel like you're in the middle right now. Tough little trade to start with, but definitely has to be on everybody's radar. That news of the split is huge. And I feel like that is really what's carrying the stock today, which is why you're actually down less than it's supposed to have moved. We were just at 8%, now you're down from that move. So the implied move was 8.5% or something on the options chain. So right now you're starting to head a little down. The move wasn't as big as anyone expected because the buy side had it right. Everybody was upgrading. They hit the price targets. They beat by expected number. They put the dividend in there, a little bit of an increase in the dividend, and then they give you the stock split. So I think it's enough to make everybody happy, but not enough to be like, wow, that was a monster move, because it's not. It's under the expected move. So with that being said, I just want to look over at a competitor that I think is maybe setting up a little bit better, and it's on the sticky note right now for AMD at 168. So I just feel like if we're going to look at 168 here on Morgan Stanley, I'm hearing Morgan Stanley, someone's stepping down at Morgan Stanley. I don't know who it was, but anyways, down here into 168, this looks like a much better. You can start it at 169, but I'm just thinking if we dip down, AMD shouldn't go under these levels that we've sort of touched the last week, you know, because this is better news for the space. So I like AMD here. They're going to report in 2 months. I mean, obviously we're through their report, but they reported a month ago. So all these numbers are going to come through. It's great for the space. I like AMD maybe a little bit better as a technical setup right now. But man, Nvidia has to be on everybody's mind today. And I think that if you're going to watch it, I hear some of the guys behind us. There's NVDA, which they'll be trading there. This is 1.5 times the mover as well. So you're going to see here 13%. So this might even be a better trading tool for many traders that are a little nervous of the $30, $40, $50 moves that can happen the other way on the big guy. So right now, I mean, this is just something very, very similar where you got to wait for it to move around. So if you can get into that 47, I don't think that happens on this name. But I haven't looked at this or traded it because it is 1.5 times. So I'll stick with the big dog, but NVDL is another option for some of us out there.
The chairman for MS, Gorman, what's his name? James Gorman, stepping down as of December 31st, so end of the year. It's the annual shareholder meeting today for Morgan Stanley as well, so could be other things to come for that. There was a bit of a down move on that note, not huge, 25 cents there for Morgan Stanley, but yeah, the chairman stepping down, going to depart at the end of the year. Yeah, let's go to Snowflake, another one. I mean, the rest of these charts going to look a little unimpressive after we let off with Nvidia, but still a nice move here, 4.5% plus, holding 170 for Snowflake.
Surprise, surprise, it's Nvidia related though. It's actually a partnership between Snowflake, Brendo, and Nvidia, the AI monster. There is several things being worked out here, but just to put it very briefly, it's essentially trying to scale enterprise AI for corporations. There is going to be a showcase. They're going to do a data cloud summit where Jensen is going to be one of the guests of honors, and they're going to release all the information about the collaborations between Snowflake and Nvidia coming up in a few weeks.
2.5% or 2.5 times relative volume already here in the pre-market, guys, for Snow.
in the initial move after the earnings before it did come back in eventually. But I mean, the overall trend is very different from the local trend or the shorter term trend. If you just look at the nice little rounded bottom and then a consolidation break on earnings, that's 166. So I think that's, I hate the term, using the term the Alamo on the stock, but that's when a breakout level comes back in, I think it turns into potential support. If you're a strong stock, then that's what's supposed to happen at the end of the day. So if it gets to 66, I'm gonna be looking for a bounce. The only thing I don't like is, I had to zoom out so you can see the 200 period moving average. When it pulled back from that after hours move, it pulled back right underneath that 200 period moving average, which sits at 172. So I think it's like a two-way zone here. If we cannot break 172 at the open, then it's like look for the gap fill dip buy. If the opening range holds above 172, I think this is going to turn into like a runaway long. But at 930 with its volume, I know the levels, like I have level 2 that's going to be dedicated to Nvidia, AMD, Mara, I added Polestar to my list, and then Tesla. So it's one where I probably won't have it up in that first few seconds. But if it's holding trend at the open over 172, I think this is going to have a tremendous opportunity to run. It's that 200 period moving average. If it never busts that today, then it's either a complete nothing or you're looking for a dip buy.
So yeah, my most recent buy, I believe anyways, was Snowflake. I might have bought something since then. I don't think so. I like Snowflake. We're long there in the 50s. We'll see if it can continue to work. But I've just made a look here of Palantir as well. It's not really moving at all. And I know Palantir is not so Snowflake, and they're not even the same by any stretch of imagination. Well, it's some imagination there. But as we talk about data here today, Palantir is still up 1.41%. The thing about this name is if you're going to look here, it's really the trend has not been your friend to the long. I'm just wondering if all of this here over the last, that's the earnings, thank you. Over the last couple days here, if we could sort of stay above this 2130, 2140, I was actually thinking of getting, I say this all the time, we get this garbage out of here, and then we get back up into 22. So I was actually pretty excited here for a Palantir 2160 break. So I want to take it. I feel like you can use almost as many shares as you want here because I don't think this is going to be a violent name, and you have 21 as your stop. So I would just say if you're going to try this trade, I feel like you have 21 stop might be a little bit too far, but I was going to say you have 40 cents to 22. I think if you take this 2160, a good out would be 85 to 90 in here somewhere, maybe even 80s. So that's like 20 cents, which will bring you back into the 200 period, which is 50. We'll find out where VWAP is on the 1 minute once we take this trade. But at the end of the day, I like a Palantir break. I just think like needs to go, right? We see Dell, we see a lot of these bigger names starting to go through. Now Palantir will be added at some point to the S&P 500. I really like this number for them from Snow, and I like PLTR and Alex Karp. So let's see if we can win here on this stock today, going long at 2160. It's on the note, so I'm taking it.
All right, we'll zoom out on some of these Chinese ADRs, give you a wider range. Here's Alibaba. First off, we had that multi-day move that has basically been erased now. We're all the way back to levels from beginning of the week and or end of last week, really, on Alibaba. It is positive here, but a couple days in a row, 3-4 days in a row here for Alibaba straight downside. I mean, there's no real significant headlines, but most of these Chinese ADRs downside.
Well, they're looking to raise $5 billion, Brendo. They're looking to raise $5 billion, Brendo. Alibaba coming out this morning and saying that they're gonna issue a convertible bond sale to the tune of about $5 billion, traded lower overnight on the Hang Seng. They're taking a page out of JD.com's book that did the same move previously and tried to fuel growth there. There's also an AI story today about Baba, but this one is really the focus, Brenda.
Yeah, even the EV names under a little bit of pressure this morning, guys. I mean, these haven't really done much the past few days, but EV stocks out of China downside today.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Baba, with the news story, I was going to say it was like the really bad one this morning into what's obviously an exuberant day for the market, but really it was overnight over 5% down in Hong Kong. It's only down 1.6 because it bounced off the $80 level. I just saw in the chat there, even DJK in the chat's like Baba 80 support. The 200 periods at $79. You got the $80 level in there. I mean, I like that for a dip buy. I think either one of those two, if we have that dip and rip story, which has been good in Alibaba, that's going to be the level that it happens at. It's still, it still made that rounded bottom. It was a nice break from the 200. This is the pullback from 90. The next step would be holding somewhere in this range off the 200-period moving average, and it had already bounced off at $80 once in the pre-market. I'd say why not again? And if it doesn't hold that, like I said, the 79 level is going to be your 200-period moving average on the daily. I actually have not looked back at NEO in a while, but I will point out Li Auto, which I think we had mentioned earlier in the week, has been under a tremendous amount of pressure. Flat bottom broke. Technically, it wasn't a flat bottom break. It's gapping underneath the support since it got smoked on Monday, and that was at about 2060. You're now continuing down. Actually, when we brought this story, I had this trend line up, mostly when talking to Sharif in the morning, and sort of said, if this closes underneath this trend, and if we break 20 and close underneath 20, I can see Li Auto getting into the low to mid-teens. So this is on my radar today, that if it ends up a flush through 20 bucks, I mean, Li Auto, what can I say? I mean, the chart kind of speaks for itself. I mean, I'll let the chart do the talking. It's at 2030 and it's not doing any volume, but this breakdown's been on the radar. We close below there or just break 20 outright. I think it could get nasty for Li Auto in the short term.
What's up, Rivian Millionaire? I think that's a good idea, selling your FXI. Look, we did it again on Alibaba, man. I mean, we're long down here at 71, and we just watched it go right up, right into, again, past resistance and did nothing about it. It should have been sold off right there. There's no reason not to get something out at 90. I mean, it came right into that level. We've already seen this numerous times. Getting greedy, obviously waiting for that $100 mark. I thought it was going to get there, and it's still good. We need to see what happens now in and around $80 for Alibaba. But what a disastrous couple of days here for Baba as you go into 90 all the way back down into 81. So all that. Look, we're still celebrating. We're still long here. But at the end of the day, that 30% move that it happened in a month getting sold off a little bit. So, profit taking makes some sense here for Alibaba. And it's not on my radar. I'd rather this settle down and then we can figure out where we're going to get long. But in a day where I wrote down every single trade on my sticky note as long, I'm not going to sort of waver from that because Alibaba for me would be a short. So I'm going to wait to see when this thing settles down. We need one or two more good stories from China, and then we'll get back on that bandwagon. And I may buy more at some point for Alibaba because I do like the name. But for now, it is a hold, and my earpiece is now in, so that's all good. Elf Cosmetics. I was making sure that, see at the bottom we have ETH, ETF, so I didn't make sure that didn't say Elf. I didn't want to cover it early, but this name yesterday, it was a big miss. I mean, me and Adara and I were watching this go all the way down into 140 there, and we're like, uh-oh. We had the greatest joke of all time on the Market Recap show where I said that Elf has fallen off the shelf right now down into 140. And then I asked Adara, she doesn't have, you have an Elf on the shelf?
Kind of a question.
Yeah, we have two of them. I think we might have three. I wanted to buy that Snoop Dogg one.
The kids, man. It's the greatest, it's one of the greater scams ever because it didn't exist until like a few years ago.
Yeah, it's about 10, 15 years old, but they had the book and they had the movies and all that stuff. Watch the
genius.
Yeah, watch the movie too on Netflix. It's pretty fun. All right, 170. Anyways, Elf Cosmetics. You want to talk about it? Yeah, all the way back in. Now look at the bounce spot there, 146. I think that was key. So nice move down there, hitting that 200 period, and now all the way to the upside. So Elf, thanks for the super chat. I really like that stock there. I'll have to look over some of the fundamentals behind it, but Ulta Beauty, if you want to look at a name that's not performing that well, and this is sort of one of those things where we had talked about Elf versus Ulta. Ulta is getting absolutely destroyed right now. So you might be a little bit, I don't know, Elf better company, I don't know. Ulta Beauty into a sick level all the way back down to where we were back in that October low. So again, based on what the stock market's been doing, I'm gonna have to do some more research on this name because Ulta Beauty looks Ulta Beautiful down here for the long. I mean, look at this, bang, 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 bang. Oh yeah, I forgot we have a little animation for that.
We do.
Ulta Beauty down here. Looking pretty juicy to me.
Or beautiful.
All right, market downside right now. Tesla, meanwhile, taking out the pre-market highs here, back to 182.5, up 1.3%. This Shanghai battery plant not only going to be a thing, but I mean, pretty impressive projections they're coming out with here as far as this new plant is concerned.
10,000 megapacks a year, Brendo, and each 1 megapack is set to be able to actually hold 3.9 megawatt hours of power, which is essentially enough power to power 3,600 homes for an hour. They're going to be able to build 10,000 of these things a year. It's taking place in Shanghai's Liang pilot-free zone, so it's a free trade area there. That's the first one that they're building out to the tune of $200 million.
Just be aware, if anyone's watching crypto, there's some comments coming through from Gary Gensler in the SEC right now, just saying committed to following the law on crypto ETF bids, whatever that means.
Yeah, there was a slight move down on that, on his comments, or lack thereof, because he didn't say anything about their actual ETF plans, but he just said that whole like following the law on any general ETF bids. Small move down, I think it was like 40 or 50 bucks. The bigger move had happened like 15, 20 minutes ago on ETH and BTC, rejecting the 70,000. So, you know, at the end of the day, Tesla, it didn't give back everything from that big rally that we saw on Tuesday, but it did show you a nice, it's not the typical double bottom, but for all intents and purposes, you had Friday's close, which is like 177.5. It broke down on Monday at that price. It then held support at that level 2 days in a row. So, you know, 178, 177.5, you're splitting hairs. I think over that, it's a long. It recovered the 180 as well. So those are the only two levels I'm looking at for dip buys on Tesla. You know, made a mistake yesterday when looking for dips in Nvidia, taking one into the other. Like 180 and this dip are two separate ideas and two separate key levels. I want to go dip by hunting in for the long in Tesla. Whether it gets all the way up to 187, I don't know about that. But you know, I do like Tesla at those levels, especially that 177.5, 178. When you get a previous close price at the end of the week, and then that holds up as a key level the next week, I think that's worth trading off of. So unlike Li Auto, well, I'm actually probably, I mean, Li Auto has to set up for a short for me. That might not happen for a day or two. But unlike that, I'm looking for longs in Tesla today.
Shout out to my wife. I love you. She's watching, and she just messaged me and said she likes e.l.f. cosmetic products. So I'll have to put that in the portfolio. That's one of my trading strategies. Okay, so just quickly here. What were we talking about? Tesla. All right, number one idea on the sticky note today, China batteries, hashtag Tesla 180, end of story. We wrote down that we like this name. Again, I've been trading this name every single day. And looking at it, I like Tesla here. You know, we tried to ask Brian Shannon about it. We've asked Danielle Shea about it. And right now, you're starting to get a little bit of a slope up here in the 50-period moving average. We're trying to hold it at 170. We're not trying. They're succeeding. It's come down into this 170, 172 now. This is a daily chart numerous times, right? I mean, that's like 3 or 4, 5 days in a row where we held it. And then it even goes back to filling this little stupid gap from 172 up to 180. Well, we're trying to hold that gap right now. So I like 180 here. If we're able to get some dip buy opportunities in Tesla, I could see this market getting faded a bit. We have 925 coming up where we have those market imbalances. So look at the NASDAQ fading out. Tesla almost did the opposite. It has a nice move up there and pretty much holding. I mean, as high as 182.50. We're only 25 cents away from that right now. Well, I guess 182.80. But you get back into that level and we start to break higher on Tesla. But the thing is, we've already been here yesterday. So it has price memory. And the thing is that this gap right there at 184, I was looking to possibly go long there, but I'm also thinking that that could be the top if the market doesn't continue to rally too much. So I'm wondering if it's just like a quick dollar move off the jump, and then if it wants to blow up, we've seen what Tesla can do. Remember, we had a 176 short play into here off of these levels, and that lasted about 1 minute, honestly, right off the open. And then it was kaboom, and we were able to switch gears, and I believe we got a long somewhere around 180 at that time as well. So we'll see if we can get a dip buy here into 180 for Tesla, but it's an idea that I think if we're patient enough, we could possibly get this, because Tesla will move numerous dollars off open, including market on open orders. So we're going to wait to see. I'm already bidding. Like, I'm right there right now in the live market north of 180. So I'm bidding Apple, I'm bidding Amazon, and I'm bidding Tesla. And I have a punch up in Palantir through 60s. So we're ready. I have 4 live orders right now, all longs in the market, just waiting to trigger. So 925, we'll see if any of them hit.
All right, let's go to crypto land to wrap things up here. We had BTC go back below 70,000. There was that note again. If you missed it, Gary Gensler from the SEC coming out saying he's going to follow the law when it comes to these Ethereum ETF decisions that are, I mean, there's some sort of deadline that's supposedly today. So whether or not we'll hear about this remains to be seen.
2 deadlines. Well, one today, one tomorrow, Brendo. And there's 9 pending applications, guys. Cboe, VanEck, ARK, BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, Franklin Templeton, Invesco, just to name a few. They're all applying for these Ethereum spot ETFs. Ethereum trading has definitely reacted to that news. $45 billion in trading yesterday, which is very close to Bitcoin's daily volume there. So keep an eye out for that. There was also an SEC internal memo that came out basically saying that they were going to treat Ethereum as a security as opposed to something else, but despite not actually saying so openly, Brendan.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here. As we saw with Bitcoin, when the actual decision was made, I mean, the move had basically already happened, but there's the reaction to those comments if you go out to Ethereum itself. So that's a 5-minute chart, so a decent move downside here.
Tesla to 4K, says Ponzi Fonzie. NBA 4K or whatever? Oh, that's NBA 2K.
Don't make me choke on my
anyways.
4K. He keeps saying, first of all, he says BABA and Bitcoin is 0 a lot of times.
Yeah, that's okay. There's Amazon. Amazon comes with a sell here, so that's starting to get down. Remember, we're looking for 183 on Amazon, but there's the big dog, Nvidia, coming with a buy on the imbalance right now. So Nvidia with a move up just a little bit. I mean, that was $4. I mean, that's, like I said, I'm like, maybe Tesla will go $1. I mean, this is a $1,000 name. So other than that, Palantir with a little bit of a buy, nothing. I'm just looking, that was actually less than what it was before.
G-Wave's 8 cents.
Yeah, this G-Wave is an 8-cent stock. And there's Apple. Okay, so I was looking to see if there's something else that was on here, because look at what the market's doing right now. Apple just went to, are you kidding right now? Okay, Apple goes to I'm bidding 190.50. So it goes right down into that level. I'm actually going to cancel this Apple right now. This is a little bit of an aggressive move down to the downside. I'm going to put it just a little bit lower. So we are at 190.50 right here. But that was, we talked about that at 190, 150. We've now just sent down straight $1. We may regret pulling this order on Apple. I'm going to talk about crypto quickly. I just want to review the other ones that we have. What is Tesla doing right now on imbalance? Okay, that's fine. We're still at 180 on this one. And then Palantir, I put a bid down here near 21 in case we do get that early flush. But I still like a 21.60 break, but that's looking more dangerous. I'm having flashbacks of Nvidia now from yesterday where the break long looks so good and then it stuffs it right back in my face. So we'll have to watch out for that right now. But AMD, another one on my mind. And then crypto, yeah, I mean, that's bouncing around a bit.
Yeah, Coinbase 240 resistance there. I mean, if 70,000 breaks, 4,000 breaks, then 240 on Coinbase seems like a no-brainer key level. If we don't, I think it's resistance till it's not. Mara 23, we're so far away now from the 23 level on Mara. I don't know if we get it. You might have just heard me say, oh, no, G-Wave's an 8-cent stock. Correction, that was yesterday. G-Wave is actually moving. It's got that buy imbalance. It might do 1 billion shares today. So
what's it at?
Yeah, it's actually at 11.
Oh,
so I didn't realize this was gapped up. I pulled it up on my trade ideas and saw that it was an 8-cent stock. So the imbalance of 4 million is not gigantic in that case. However, looks like it is moving a bit. The float is 128 million, and it's done double that. So despite a decent-sized float, 12-cent stock, it's done twice that. It could end up doing 4 or 5 times that on G-Wave. And it already pulled back once. It is trying to run a second time. So I think this could be in play. Would like to see if this 10-cent level holds on a dip, because it is dipping back in going into the open. I just said Mara and Coinbase didn't really show you guys, but 2 days, check it 3 days in a row. Mara has rejected 23 pretty harshly. So as long as we're not breaking 70,000 on Bitcoin, I think Mara has found a resistance level. If it gets up there, I'd be looking for shorts on Mara. But at this point, you're $1.50 or just less than $1.50 away. So we're going to have some key levels come in on the bid, looking for that AMD. It'll have to be a breakout on ARM. I'm not looking to dip by that stock. Let's go to Sharif.
All right, guys, we're talking about the measured move all week. Today, we specify scalping with the measured move. Catch that with Adair and I on How to Trade at 11.
Nvidia earnings day, don't forget, Snowflake as well. We did have a jobs number that didn't do a whole lot. We're back underneath 19,000, but up 1%. Sometimes you can see that profit taking going into the open, which does make a little bit of sense. So without further ado, you know what to do here. Let's get locked and loaded. It's Thursday. It is the post Super Bowl where we get to trade over $1,000 in Nvidia, which just tagged 20s. Oh my goodness. Let's ring that bell in 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it.
Yeah, you'll see today, like, now we're getting ready to rock and roll, man. I mean, here we go. The market is now open, and of course, Apple bounces smoothly off of that 190.50 level. There's Nvidia. Everyone's looking at that. Let's look at AMD here, 171 trying to go through. There's Nvidia, 120 and change, and there's Apple bouncing smooth off that 190.50. Here comes back in. We are bidding a little bit lower. Watch out for the market now. 18.9. We just touched 19,000 on the NASDAQ. I mean, wow, what a move that was. All right, Nvidia, by the way, is now 125 and absolutely banging on those heads of the shorts. Just upside right now, 123 and going. There's that 8% move that everybody's looking for. And boy, oh boy, did we miss Amazon right there. We wrote down 183, and we're bidding 183, and that just came in right now. There's something just failed me. It's Apple. So we got away from Apple early at 190.50, but now we're back in it. We just put our order a little bit lower. Now we're long at 190.25 on Apple, watching Amazon ripping, Nvidia taking out all-time highs. We're ready to rock and roll here today. Now I'm long Tesla as well. So, oh boy, Tesla, we are starting to go now.
Yeah, Tesla just came in. Nvidia, we were looking for like crazy dips, so I guess we're not going to get that. Tesla bouncing off the 180. AMD's down at 170. That's starting to come in. We could get a bid on that one as well. We just got some Tesla out there at the 50s, but AMD's starting to come down. And AMD did not move up when Nvidia did, so it's worth mentioning. When we got that breakout at the open, AMD's been going the other way the entire time. ARM, which I said was going to be a breakout trade, at this point, okay, 120 doesn't seem all that likely, so we can get away from that. And then Snowflake is starting to come down in. You go from NASDAQ to New York, you got to put in the prefix. But Snowflake's starting to come down into that 163 level pretty heavily. So that support, sort of resistance turning into support, about to happen potentially here on Snowflake.
I mean, the market's absolutely coming in a lot right now. We have a big winner, though, on Tesla. Good call there, man. This is Sticky Note Nation at 180 flat. We just got some out right there. And I mean, look, it takes something to write them down, the exact prices. So we're trying to do that, and not always right, but we're going to take the trades that we write down. So right there, that is one for Tesla. We do have to be careful, though, because we want to watch out for Nvidia. We're still keeping our eye on it. Obviously, right now, 120,020 trying to hold right now. Maybe we can zoom in just a little bit on Nvidia to see that move. We said we would calm down early, and I think that's been the right move here on Nvidia, but we're not calmed down on the other places. We have Apple and Tesla, two sticky note names that we really, really like. 168 on AMD is another name that we had marked down here. We'll wait to see if we get a drop down in that one. And let's check out Palantir as, yeah, nothing really happening. We did get that move all the way up into 2150. Glad we didn't get punched long there, as here we go, man. The market is falling back down again. We're only out at 20% of Tesla. So what's up, eh?
ETRN moving up here, up about 4.5% right now. Equitrans midstream. So Equitrans and EQT have now said the waiting period for their merger to go through has expired. So expecting to have said merger completed by Q3 2024. So update with regards to a merger for ETRN pushing to the upside, guys.
And we'll have to check that in.
I didn't hear what it was.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch that.
I
just put my Li Auto breakdown order in because it looks like it could challenge that 20 level. Tesla's doing a nice little bounce here. Nvidia's absolutely gone. Like, I keep looking up. It's like 20s, then we're at 30s. And if we're going to get AMD, I feel like waiting for it to get down to 168 or 169 could be a waste of our time. Like, we're not going to get down. Like, right now, it's not going to move down there if we keep making fresh highs on Nvidia. So holding a 170 would be key. Otherwise, we wait for the 69, which is starting to come in here on advanced micro devices. This is the one I thought we'd be getting on a dip. There's no way Nvidia holds these highs and we don't get some kind of a nice bounce here on AMD.
Well, your boy has a banger of a trade right now on Apple. So, I mean, let's just talk about that for a second here as Apple just continues to go upside. We like this name. We talked about this. We talked about 190.50 and that was coming in a little bit too quickly there off the open. So right now we'll sit here and we'll try to get some more out. We'll try to get out of 20% at 67. For some reason, I'm offering 67s. I don't know why. We'll see if we can get that. Tesla is fading out a little bit here. AMD does take that 171. Monster move up everywhere here as Nvidia continues to get upside here, man. $1,032 for Nvidia and still counting upside right now. What's up, Adara?
Another earnings name pushing up here is ELF Beauty. Not a ton of volume behind this move, but worth noting they're now up almost 14% after initially being a little bit weaker on earnings. Their guidance was a bit weaker, but nice Q4 revenue and EPS beat for ELF, guys.
Elf making some power.
The wife said bye immediately on the show. So.
Well, I mean, when she was in the chat, I actually said,
will.
"Are you sure that over Ulta Beauty?" And she said, "Absolutely," or like no doubt was actually the thing. So
she has confidence.
I like Ulta Beauty, but I'm not as familiar with Elf. 170 does come down into AMD. Sorry, AMD just came down into 170. Sorry, I just heard Ramin in my ear. She's saying Ulta Beauty and Elf, and I'm trying to get symbols out. So VWAP also happens to be a 170.40. I tried to also get 170.10s down here, never got anything in. As the market's really starting to ramp, well, sorry, the chip names are really starting to ramp. The market itself is actually still down. I'm looking over at the NASDAQ. And Nvidia's at 1,038. Yeah, 1,038. Okay, I feel like it could do a little bit of a dip. I'm not looking gift horse in the mouth. If we don't hold the high here on AMD, this is a very topping move here at that 1040. I'm going to trail this to 171.65. That's intense. I am on the offer of Polestar as well. I might have briefly said that when Randy was here, but that's in front of $1. If that pops in, I'm shorting $1. If it gets out past there, like what? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Nvidia being at 1,040 is a little bit surprising to me. I thought there'd be a dip before this rip, and it just never happened.
Yeah, there's no like yesterday we punched along. You should just stick with the same strategies every day, honestly. Yesterday it didn't work out. Today it was a monster move for Nvidia. So I mean, you just punched that pre-market high. You're long at 1025 right now, and you're still going. So look at that stock. Look at it go. What a name. Just dropped down a little bit right there, but still aggressive play. You're gonna get traders that are gonna like market out of some of these, so sometimes you will get dips down of a couple points like that. That's just the way it's going to trade, man. I mean, if you're looking at NVDA as well, that could be something that some traders have looked at. 51 and rocking right now on NVDA, so everything's going fine. We're down $1 right now on Tesla as it comes into 178 right now. We're long at 170. Well, yeah, we're down $1. Yeah, we're long at 179.80s. Our last fill was right here at 179, so let's wait. I mean, we have a 178 area here. We've been wrong on Tesla, obviously, but the market's been getting hit. So hopefully there will find some support in and around 178, and that would be the chance there for Tesla. So we'll wait to see if there is support down here or not. Not going to average into this one, trading a falling knife here. So it's funny because we missed that Apple trade by, I think it was 3 cents. No, 1 cent. We were at 67 when it was at 66, and we were telling you that. So now Apple pulling back in as well. I don't really want to average in too much here, man, because we're long Apple and we're long Tesla, and right now the market's just trying to figure itself out. So what's up, Adara?
Another name running here that was mentioned a little bit earlier is DELL, Dell here. A little bit of this, what I'm seeing could be an Nvidia sympathy play with regards to AI, but they also did have an announcement with Ericsson with this partnership to combine and accelerate their telecom network cloud formation. Also worth noting too, Dell does report next week, so DELL on watch, guys.
Yeah, if you thought earnings season was completely over, you'd be incorrect. There's still some names to report. So I got out of Tesla when it didn't hold at 180. Got out right here under the 50s. I'm on the bid for the 78 level. You said I wanted to take 2 shots at this at 2 separate levels. It looks like we have a chance to get the second one. Just a couple of things here. AMD, when I saw Nvidia make that push to 140 and start pulling back in, I was like, okay, let's just take that and run, because I didn't expect Nvidia breaking the top, and that was a $10 move up. So if we get another dip, I'm going to be buying dips on this name if we can get it. Li Auto did come in on the 20 break, but I got 95s 19.95 on slippage, and then it just basically stopped moving. So I got out of this. If it's holding 20, I don't want any part of this. I'm gonna let it calm down and get underneath 20. I actually even said close underneath $20 and took the breakdown trade anyways. But I do feel pretty bearish on this stock overall. There is a move happening on that FFIE. I'll get to that, but Tesla looks like that 178 is definitely incoming. Oh, and I've canceled my breakout order on ARM because while Nvidia and AMD went up, ARM actually came back down and has not really bounced yet. So no breakout for ARM today, at least.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're doing too many flattering things here for the longs. I mean, Apple is now 30 cents out. It just broke 190. We were looking long today, and I don't want to give up just because the market came in like this, but it's now underneath, whatever. I mean, I don't think 19,000, that was such a huge number there. I don't know if we can get back up to that, but we are starting to fade out right now. And again, look at this market starting to head lower. Apple bounced a little bit there, but I'm sure this is a story that is very, very much related to Nvidia, but it's actually still holding out pretty high right now. So I don't know. There goes Nvidia back up to the upside. It's really just Tesla.
Starbucks.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that about Starbucks, but the thing is, Starbucks is so off right now. I already nailed this one at 72 bucks. I'm not even long. We both talked about that. We really like that level. Starbucks starting to go back up to the upside with some possible activist interventions here into Starbucks, but we're long Palantir as well. Everything's coming in like real quick now, so we're gonna have to watch out now. Tesla's come into that 178, so we just get a long down here at 178.40 to give us an average price of 179.40. So we're out $1 right now on Tesla.
I just canceled my PSNY offer because I was going to short 97s. It's at 80 cents already. So when you delay your earnings, that's not good. This is Starbucks. It's basically flat on the day, but it did make a bit of a bounce on that Pershing Square news. But Tesla gets into 178. 178.36 is what I got. We get up. Get to 79 here. I'm going to get on the offer in the 90s and try to take some. It's right back to 178, 85s. There we go. There's that last push into the 90s.
So just got some.
And in the same moment, I just re-entered Li Auto short, which is fine because Li Auto is different from Tesla as far as I'm concerned. So second level 178 looks like it wants to hold. But I'm so surprised by what's going on in ARM here. This is now a weak stock. I thought I'd cancel that breakout order. That's stair-stepping down. If Nvidia gives it up and ends up underneath that breakout price, ARM might be a great short. That's not where I thought this was going to be going today, but it had to point that out. I'm now short at a worse price on Li Auto. I got back in when it showed weakness underneath that $20 level, so we're going to be back into the short side. I'm going to check out Alibaba in a second. But back over to AMD because the chips are where it's at. Look at it hold up. I was just bidding for a reload in front of 170, and this just tagged 170.50 and continued higher. So there's the wick under VWAP, like a pretty large one. If this can hold a higher low, I'd much prefer this if the market was holding up better. But we're still tanking. The notion of getting on the bid here out in front of the support level seems a little bit nuts to me. I'm going to back off, let things calm down a bit because we haven't really found much of a bottom on the futures overall. You're wondering how can we be down if Nvidia is up and AMD is up? Microsoft, which was storming, almost flat on the day now.
Go, go, go. We are going to have hopefully a monster here in Tesla if it continues to go higher, man. I mean, let's go. We're going to put this into PL1 in just a couple seconds. Go, Tesla. I mean, this is a level that we've watched down in here. We talked about that 180, 178, waited for this name to finally start popping off, so hopefully that can't exactly do that. Everything else is not really doing anything for us right now, and it's been a very, very slow grind to the downside, which has given us an opportunity to get some of these prices, but at the same point, I mean, if the prices aren't going to fill, or they're going to fill and then just continue to push against you, then you don't have good trades on board. So right now, we're going to hold on for Amazon. It came into that 183. I liked it because I was like, wow, if we could dip into 183, we'll take that. We were very, very biased long, but we're not caught. So that's the thing. We're not really caught in anything here. Amazon's right here at 183, so that's been fine. We are waiting for 182. We nailed this trade numerous times yesterday back upside, so we're going to give it some love back into 182 if we do get down there on Amazon. So right now, we're just kind of holding out. It's Apple. That's the one that's a problem. Breaking now below 190 and holding lower than that. So what's up, Adara?
News on Starbucks here, SBUX. So report here by Gordon Haskett that Pershing Square, which is Bill Ackman's fund, is looking to potentially go have an activist investment here in Starbucks. So that's all the details here. Just to clarify, Bill Ackman's fund, Pershing Square, SBUX, maybe, guys.
VFC did the SSR bounce. So it had to get to $11. Remember we said this had bounced so far that it wasn't down 10%? It had to get to $11.10 right at the open. It got SSR, held $11 even to the penny, and is making the bounce here. So if you're looking at that play, that one definitely worked out. FFIE just popped on the radar here. As it's starting, yeah, up 20%. It held $1 yesterday, went to $1.50. Sorry, check that, $1.47. Now bouncing off VWAP. Let's go to Adara. We've got some economic data, but I'm looking to dip buy in FFIE.
What just happened there?
We do have some economic data here. We just got in these S&P PMI flash numbers. Global Services PMI flash 54.8, above the expected 51.3. We have Global Composite PMI flash 54.4 versus 51.4 expected, so that's also going to be higher than expected, and we're just waiting on that last number here. Global Manufacturing PMI flash. Let's see if I can find this one here. Coming in, Global Manufacturing PMI flash 50.9, so also a little bit higher than the 50 expected. S&P not really reacting right now, continuing to chop and churn around that 531 level here, guys.
So we got stopped out of our Palantir there because it just came crashing in on that PMI number. So we'll try it again here at 21, but just because that was a very, very aggressive move back in just a couple pennies, and we're out of this one. We're not going to just layer into these trades as they don't work. When we get a negative number there, the PMI was better than expected, which is not great because all of a sudden now PMI, which has been coming, some of these inflation data points have been coming cooler. Now we get one that's hotter. So we don't like that coming through. But we did it. We were able just to get Amazon at a better price, hopefully. I feel really silly that I'm just looking over here and I'm not looking at AMD or Nvidia and all that kind of stuff.
Nvidia's going to go right back to the high.
Yeah, okay, so there we go. So Palantir out of there. That's going to be my worst stock. The only stock that we've been hit on so far is Palantir. But we do still have this Tesla position, which we bought some more down low. So Shorty got low, 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 low.
You forgot the apple bottom jeans.
Well, the apple bottom jeans, that's what I was waiting for. The apple bottom jeans is are not looking like to have that much fur there. What's up, Randy?
Shorty, yo, Randy's all about that song, right?
Here we go. Yeah, because he really knows what that is. Here we go. Apple right now, 189.50. Let's see if we can get it back, man. That Palantir trade, really the only one that's been bad for us. Here goes Amazon. Nice upside move. Come on, Tesla. You can do this, man. Do this damn thing. We just bought it again down there at 179. Come on, Tesla. Electrify this market, my guy.
Oh, my goodness. Highs of the day on Nvidia. AMD just blew out the top, 173. I got Tesla looking for VWAP, a retracement. We're in FFIE, but the story is the chips. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is AMD punching through those highs. It's an absolute moonshot. Remember, the futures are still down. I mean, the NASDAQ is pulled back in the very slight bounce at 18.9. Like, we're still looking relatively weak. Like I said, I'm looking for VWAP on Tesla. First time we took a hit, waited for the 178, just reloaded, took some out the $0.50, but you're still looking pretty heavy on the futures. So a pretty unfortunate day for anything that is not chip related. Oh, wrong. Alibaba's just went green. So Baba caught a huge bit. I was looking at the $80 level. It bounced at 81, so no trade for me. I'll look for VWAP to join that trend, if we even can. There's no guarantees. Speaking of VWAP, just got some in front of VWAP in 130 on FFI. It hasn't quite gotten to the 130 level, but we are having a look there. And Randy was just here, and we're going to talk about, I was going to make a joke about, well, I don't want to joke about Polestar. Whatever, it is what it is. 80 cents that song.
Yeah, I mean, the guy has 6 million shares. 80 cents? Okay, yeah.
Well,
maybe we should
he
tell
came
him
in,
about
he was,
that.
check that, 77 cents.
What?
Polestar is
What was
absolutely
the news about
tanking.
Polestar?
They delayed their earnings. If you fail $1 the day before and then you delay your earnings, maybe, just maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there. I'm just sort of throwing this out there for an idea. Maybe that was a short. It could have possibly maybe been a short. I even paid for, the fail's on me because I paid for locates and was on the offer. Sometimes you just have to sit in the stock in the pre-market because if it opens up and everyone tries to dump, on news like that, you might not be able to get in. But when there's no volume, I was thrown by the fact that there was no volume in the pre-market and thought I could get cheeky with it. I was wrong.
Yeah, that's a tough one to get cheeky with it. All right, so.
Well, that's even getting worse.
So really the only thing right now, I mean, Tesla seems to be fine. It's Apple, right? I mean, this is the name that continues to go down. And I was trying to find stops for this. And honestly, like I was not, this kind of a candle to the downside, like, we're right into support that I would be like, okay, you know, this is really where we like it, but it's just getting worse. Like this market's not stopping right now. It is heading lower, lower, lower. So I feel like we're gonna have to bail something on 189, man, because like if this just continues to break, we can't just layer into all these trades. It's 9.49 right now. Thank you, Randy, for that. Polestar's down to 70 cents right now. So that's an absolute disaster right here. No, he did say no. There is
Snowflake
no
is getting
doubt
rugged
about that. Oh, great. We're already got rugged on Palantir right now. Look at this one, just a straight fire to the downside right there. But the good thing about this one, Randy, is we were pretty patient, man. We didn't start getting long until 21. Then when it broke, it was a savage move. Where's Adara? She missed that one. 21 was a savage move, I said. That's her favorite. I think that's one of her favorite current rappers out right now. So, so okay, here we go. Palantir, nice break of 21, and we're just gonna wait now. Amazon's back down to 182. I have a stop of breaking 182 on Amazon. We're not exactly layered into this too much yet. We were able to get something out there at 183 at least on Amazon right there. So we've already got this bump once. I'm not gonna average back into Amazon down here unless we get a little bit lower than where we are right now. We're just sitting in three long.
Bitcoin's tanking. The futures are tanking. Mars down 6% right now. Coinbase is down 4% at the lows. Forget about the 240 level. You can stick an absolute fork in that. Like the only thing holding up for me is Tesla, but that's Tesla at 178. Like that's about it. FFIE just came out. So the only things that have worked for me are like the Tesla long 78 and then the AMD dip buy, which we might get 170s again. So if FFIE doesn't hold VWAP, if it can reestablish, great. I'll let this one calm back down. If the market continues to head down, it might be like a meme long day if that's all we're able to get. Nvidia is holding up pretty nicely. Like look at it consolidate VWAP. That's where the strength is in this market. So AMD right back in. This is the 170 level where it bounced off 170s, and I went for the long. So if it can bounce there, we'll look at that again. AMA, I did mention for it had support on the daily at 12, but that was more like thinking about whether I wanted to like do some kind of a swing trade in my personal account. I wasn't looking to day trade for it off the 12 level. I would imagine if it's at a support level, it's probably testing it because the market's tanking.
The only thing I should be doing with Ford is selling it, honestly. I mean, that stock just sits there for years and years and years. And it's like, damn, man. Just to have switched over to Tesla would have been much, much better. But what are you going to do? All right, so Apple, I just took some out here at 50s. So we're long at 80s. I don't, you know, the market is not coming back, it doesn't look like right now. So, yeah, a little bit of a downside move here. Take advantage to get some out of Apple. We're still holding out on Amazon, but yeah, Elon, hello, Elon, what's going on? As this continues to go down, we're about to get out on a 177.75 break for Tesla. Let's take some pressure off a little bit at 97 if we can, but Tesla, there it goes. We just took out like 5% there. Hopefully we can get a bounce back here now. But my stop almost got triggered there. We were pennies away from that trigger. So let's just, you know, here it is, going to trigger out now. So Tesla wrong on this call. We'll dump that. There goes Tesla back down to the downside. We'll hold a little bit of it, but definitely able to get some out here. But
I think there's news on Tesla.
There's news on Tesla all of a sudden?
Oh,
okay, well, that doesn't help. What's up?
So basically what I'm seeing here with Tesla is that in its latest impact report, it's omitted its 2030 sales goal. So why that's significant is because Tesla previously had a goal of selling 20 million cars by 2030. So the fact that this has now been omitted from the latest impact report is, I guess, causing a little bit of alarm here, guys.
It's my coffee.
That's yours?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's fine.
No, because I think it's mine.
No, it's
too late.
No, it's yours. It's yours, man. It's all good.
Yeah, it's mine.
No, I saw the coffee still there, and I was just like, oh, Randy.
Yeah. Normally I take it. And then when you said that, I was like, wait a second, I never grabbed my coffee.
So with that, like obviously, You know, I didn't hear that in my ear, but I had just seen that same story seconds as Adara was bringing it. So I had already reloaded. Unfortunately, I had just reloaded Tesla off the support level, and then I saw it, so it was like an immediate stop out. Remember when I said it was the only thing that was working? Well, if I don't take that reload, it still would have been. But like just as I got into it, what are you gonna do? Like that's gonna put me red, no question about it. But a couple of seconds earlier, and I probably don't do that reload when I see that story on Tesla. I'm not in anything anymore because if you're thinking bullish, well, AMD gave me the dip buy and then broke higher, and the next level was 168. It just got there now. So, I mean, AMD didn't even get down to that level until a couple of seconds ago, and I wasn't going to reload it unless it bounced at 170. So the 168 level coming into play. I'm sitting down here at 32, so hopefully we get some magic love and can pick that one up, but everything else looks weak. It's like, where would I even consider going short? Well, Intel was relatively weak, but am I shorting the low of the day? No, I'll short a pop into VWAP. ARM was relatively weak, but where am I supposed to get into this thing? Chase the bottom?
Nowhere.
No. You know, sometimes you just gotta suck it up, buttercup, and what you wanted to do isn't necessarily happening. I even didn't even win on the Li Auto short. I'll get back to that in a second.
AMD just came into
but
168.
AMD just came into that 168 level. Quick time.
Yeah, that was pronto. We're long 168 right now. This was, again, a level that we thought we liked. That Tesla really sucked, man. We lost half of our, more than half of our day on that one Tesla move.
Well, if you think about it as a trader, like the worst possible thing that can happen is a stock goes to your buy level at the same moment bad news hits. What are you going to do? Because I was on the bid and then I saw the story after I was filled. What are you supposed to do?
Day trading is, you know, everything's rigged against you. You just have to try to, investing, you have all the advantages. As an investor, all of the advantages because time is on your side. So we've already proven that over time, you know, buying index funds and all that kind of, I didn't prove anything, the market proved it, that's a healthy strategy. Day trading, everything is rigged against you because you don't have as much information as anybody else. You don't have as fast opportunities with your platform as everybody else, and you don't have an unlimited amount of time to hold on to trades like potentially others do. So it's just
algos are plugged into these news things.
That's what I'm saying.
Like we have to hear it and hit a key. The algos essentially can fire the order, getting the news digitally, reading the headline. Like you have to understand. So when that happened, it was immediately out. So we just broke down underneath that 168. So I tried the second level on AMD. That came out. If we reestablish 168, that's the level I like. So I don't mind getting back in if it can show me more strength down there. But just sitting here and catching the falling knife is getting dangerous because we're now at 18.85 on the NASDAQ and still falling. Nvidia is threatening giving up VWAP. It hasn't done so yet, but it's certainly threatening to do so. At this point, like Baba's at VWAP, it's like, do I even really want Alibaba at VWAP? Usually that's an absolute no-brainer. I look over at like, are the meme stocks going?
The market should bounce here at some point.
Well, I'm thinking we should bounce somewhere, but I'm looking for it to happen and then join a bounce as opposed to try and sit on the falling sword. No VWAP on FFIE. It's not bouncing at $1. If it gets to $1 again, I'd probably defend it. But the stock that's at the level would be AMD in that 168. So that's where I want to look. I have my eyes on Nvidia. If Nvidia is really losing it on the bid, then obviously I'm not going to be a huge fan of those levels. Oh, there was something else that I wanted to get to. Can't talk to chips without TSM. TSM, if it goes red today, well, Nvidia's still up. That would be a little bit shocking. I didn't think that was even a remote chance. I didn't even bother mentioning it. $156 would be the level on TSM. But that wasn't in my notes. I'm like, yeah, we're not going to get to 56. So why bother saying it? Well, we're $1 away.
All right. We've been averaging into Amazon, which has been working. Apple's just hanging out, so we're waiting for that one. Amazon's just right here, right now. I mean, we haven't been really averaging in per se. We have one bid at 50, another bid there at 65 or something. As I just said, let's go for it. We have new home sales coming up right now, and that should be interesting. I don't know if that's necessarily going to move the market too much. If anything, that bad PMI number seems to have really a good PMI number, but higher than expected. So bad for people looking at inflation, because if that continues to go higher, then we're going to have to watch out for that possible rate cut talk one more time coming through. So, all right, I mean, we're long AMD here as well. We wrote down 168. We got 167.80 right now. So we're flat on this trade. We were trying to buy some more down there at 167, but AMD is taking a nap right now at this level, trying to figure out what it wants to do, because I'm going to look over at Nvidia right now. That's doing the same thing. It just bounced off 1025. So I feel like we're just waiting to see what happens here to react to what's happening over here. So here comes AMD back down in again. We're still waiting for some more trades. There we go. We just got 167 flat. So, all right, our trade is now 167.50s. Let's see if it now bounces back up to the upside. Quick check on friend. Nvidia 130 would be nice to get that break right now, as we are juiced up now on AMD, man. We're like Jose Canseco over here. What's going on with Amazon, though, as Mark McGuire's getting juiced on this side. Here we go, 183.03. All right, this is the Barry Bonds right now, as Amazon going back up to the upside. Boom. I think I'm only going to have one green name here today, and that is going to be Amazon. So let's hopefully going to be Amazon. AMD, fingers crossed, that one can get going as well. But who's always ready to go is Adara at the desk.
Just waiting on those new home sales numbers here. We just got them in, 634,000, so slightly lower here than consensus of 0.68 million, so about 68,000, and then or 680,000, sorry. New home sales negative 4.7% versus forecast of negative 1.4%, so lower here than expected as well. A little bit of a turn here. We're seeing a little bit of a base on the S&P 500. Pretty much flat in the day. NASDAQ slightly stronger. A lot of the gains in this market today have been led and buoyed by some of these semiconductor-related stocks. We had some positive news with regards to TSM, also Nvidia, and its earnings above $1,000 for the first time. So lots of excitement in the tech space. But what other names are moving today? We do have ALF, another earnings play, currently up about 15% despite some early weakness. The earnings were pretty good. Guidance was not, it came in below expectations, but recovering very nicely here, up 15% for ELF. Last but not least, here we also have Snowflake, SNOW. They had a revenue beaten EPS miss. They actually initially were trading higher, but now trading a little bit lower here for Snowflake, guys.
Let it snow, apparently. If you want it to fall to the downside, that's essentially what you're getting. I did get Alibaba off of VWAP, so first trade here is not going to be the dip buy at 80. It's going to be the dip buy into VWAP. I scalped some out at the quarters, looking to reload off of VWAP. And then, look, AMD waited for it, and sometimes, like you say, sometimes you take it in the other direction. Well, it bounced off. It did not bounce well off 168. It made a bottom at 67. Then you get a little something here with a higher low, which is what I just moved on over to. I still like the notion of FFIE. I'm not on the bid just yet, but it's starting to hold the 1/4 level. And if looking for a short, I said I paid for locates on PSNY and then did nothing about it. PSNY is getting close to VWAP in here, so I am looking for short the pop situation on Polestar. It's SSR, so I'll let it kind of make a move up and then work back in. Wow. I just
40s, unbelievable.
I just got a reload in Alibaba and then it lost VWAP, like immediately.
Oh, man.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And AMD just lost 167.
Yeah.
It's one of these kind of days. Fail. And the worst part about it is the easiest trade was probably just Polestar short. Like, this was probably the easiest trade that was out there. I have the locates. Because it's SSR, there's like a 1.5 cent spread as well, so you can't hit the bid on the way down. So I'm going to have to get on the offer, I just realized, and then try and take it through me, meaning like you sit on the offer, it has to print through you, because there needs to be an uptick in order to get filled. But the first time is VWAP here at 85.
All right, yeah, AMD just lost it right there. We got out at 166, basically a 167 break there. But, you know, fighting this is not been a winning strategy. So we'll get some here, but yeah, you know, too much more lower than where we are. What am I on? Amazon, sorry. Too much more on AMD, and we're going to get out of that. It really sucks because we were on Amazon, and I was trying to let it go. We were at 183.40. Like, you could see why we'd be there. These are these levels. It came right back into there and touched it and then fell back in. And then I tried to punch some 23s. I even tried some 15s there to get out of some of this one as we go. So, look, man, I mean, I'm here to tell you, I am now 0 for 5 today. And let's see if we can get something going now. I mean, Amazon's flat, so we're going to, you know, but the thing is that we took the hit here on Tesla, and thank God we did, because that's even lower. Palantir still straight to the downside right now. Amazon, I mean, we were long biased. So when you're long biased and the market's fallen 1%, I mean, that is not good. And we came in here, as we said, possibly with rose-colored glasses on as well. But I mean, I don't know. You've been mentioning it today, but it's been a rough day. Everybody in the chat there.
Of course it is. Yeah. I mean, look, if you're bearish today, you're laughing. You know, like obviously, if you, like I said, there was.
Let's go.
The easiest trade was like short PSNY, but I just looked at Rivian. Rivian's back at $10. Like, are you kidding me? That $10 level that held 3 times. So it's not quite there, but I will be involved if it holds the $10 level. I couldn't even get into PSNY, by the way. I said you have to sit on the offer, have it come through you. I got absolutely nothing. I chased it to 82 for a third of the size, and I'm just sitting on the offer. I just need to get filled. Clearly, when the stock is SSR, it's going to be a little bit tricky to get it. But you are seeing NVIDIA. I know NVIDIA is actually holding VWAP in there.
It's trying to go, right?
So every single time I go back over, and it's like, you're still in the area that I want to be buying AMD, as that is the weak name. The other one to get over to, I said if we got to VWAP, I would short Intel. It's like, well, you're not getting there. Like, this market is so weak that even the things that I want to join to the short side aren't happening. ONMD is halted. I saw that pop on my scanner as well. I'll get you guys. Juan Hernandez just put it in the chat. Indicated open of $1.50 there. Thank you for fixing my mic. I realized I had it the wrong way. ONMD, 148 halt. The tap was 150. Now it's 148 again. So remember, Luis called out the $2 resistance level on ONMD. If it gets there, I think that's a big level on the daily chart. Whether or not you take profits there, that's up to you guys. So good luck with ONMD. It seems like the squeeze and short plays are, they're the ones that are going today, if you're not at NVIDIA.
Yeah, we don't, yeah, we're not sure. Look,
All right.
we'll have one, at least we'll have one winner on board here today, as it looks like we are going to go for Amazon again. So Amazon's starting to pump upside right now. So good on us for at least trying to hold a little bit of Amazon and scratch that. We'll actually go 2 for 5 if AMD can go now. So here goes AMD off 167. Let's see if it can fly up there. We just got some nice fills there on AMD. We got 50s. So hopefully or 48s. Hopefully we can continue to go higher there on AMD and Amazon. That one, we just got some O's again on this. This is a positive stock for us, but I mean, hard to be super happy when, you know, we've taken a $1 hit on Tesla, and this one is like 25 cents in the money, and I'm like, hey, at least we're positive. Like, it's not going. And then Apple right now is in sleeper zone, which is making me very nervous because it should be going up already if it wants to, and it's not. So I'm not sure this wants to go up either. The market is really heavy today. I mean, there's no love right here, despite the love for NVIDIA. I mean, NVIDIA has been great today. I mean, off VWAP, off the 50. I mean, this is what we wrote down was wait for dips into VWAP. So we should be long. Like, it's just, I'm just not following my own stuff. Wait for dips into VWAP for NVIDIA is what we said. So why am I not long 1027 right now? You know, I mean, that's the VWAP dip in. It's right there. That's what we called. So again, an awesome opportunity there for NVIDIA to have bought and followed simple rules, and we just simply didn't do that. So yeah, you deserve to get hit when that happens. All right, so we talked about Amazon possibly being our only green name here, and now it's like right back to flat. Oops, right back to flat again. You need to be able to flip short. Normally we're able to do that. Today, it's like nothing's really breaking. So we've been staying in it. And there goes AMD. Again, we were just like, oh, man, we just got some 50s there. Like, that was 50 cents in the money. And then, boom, 50 cents the other way. So at least we were 1 for 1 there on our risk. But still, look at this name, continuing to puke lower and lower.
And I just looked back at Li Auto. Like, Li Auto's a small hit because I didn't really hold it very far against me, but it shouldn't be a hit at all. And it's not even about that. I should have just taken it. I should have taken it one more time. Like, I like that 20 break. Just have it that last time, and now you're starting to see the fall through to the downside. Like, that's absolutely flushing. There are some we talked about some strong names in the market. Alibaba was holding VWAP. I got out of it when it could no longer hold on to VWAP. Could have just not reloaded the trade, but we did, so it is what it is. But guess what is still better than Alibaba? If you guessed Pinduoduo, you would be right. This is up 6%.
Pinduoduo, I guessed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know.
guess,
Yeah.
right?
If I'd given a second, I know you would have guessed it 100%. PDD up 6%, still flying after their report. But the real story here would be Nvidia up 9% and hunting for a high of the day break into a market which is trying to bounce off of the lows. So that is what it is. And I can't believe this is even the truth, but Google 175 could come into play as well. I said there's some outside levels I didn't think would come into play. I didn't even bother writing them down. 156 TSM and Google 175 would have been the two. But that's what happens when the market goes super bearish and you were bullish. You have to wait for those levels. FFIE, it's trying to put in higher lows. If it can hold on to VWAP, I'm looking to go into the long and trying to catch it on an uptrend instead of the downtrend that it's in. As I said, I am now into PSNY off of VWAP. So no longer the dollar level. If Polestar gets to $1, I'll be well out of that well before it gets there.
So even though the market is bouncing a little bit right now, it's really just, like, I hate looking over and being red and then like Nvidia, the name that we were really excited to trade, does exactly what we were talking about. That really sucks. All right, so Elf, again, should have just listened to the wife, man. I mean, she is literally undefeated. At like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, she's just like, you should be buying Elf. I mean, it's now up from that point, $17. And how the hell am I going to tell her that I'm down today? She's going to be pissed at this. All right, so here we go. No, just joking. By the way, we did buy the TQs, by the way. So there's a nice little move back up in the futures. I mean, we just hit this one. This is now 30 cents. Starting to make that money back now. So finally, we're starting to get a little bit better. Let's get something. Okay, here we go. Awesome. There we go. Little bit of money getting counted out now on the TQQs. So we'll have two big green names today, right? We'll have now Amazon on the reload. Big trade here for me on Amazon, guys. Big trade right now for Amazon. So that's going to be a good one. Let's see how high we can fly on this one. I'm waiting for 183.23 where we missed last time, but we'll take some outs there. That's where the 50 period is. I'm going to take some more out right now based on the way this day is going. We're going to make sure that we get some out over here right now. And then the TQs is starting to do some damn things right now to the upside here. So we bought some of this dip as we saw the market starting to sort of recover a little bit down there. Buy some of the dips there in the TQQ. So we've got two green names over here right now as we wait to see what happens with Apple. Nice little bounce back in Apple. So let's take something out there because an apple a day has been disastrous for me because right now Apple's starting to continue to the downside. We'll take, see, I put an offer and it just runs away from it. So we're sitting there now around 189.10 to see if we can get some of this out. Hopefully it does bump a little bit so we can take some of this pressure off of these trades. So right now we're waiting for some Apple to bounce up a little bit. We have a shit ton of shares.
Yeah, Carpe Diem, relax 1,000%. I like that. I like that. You have to have it on some days, especially when it's going to be rough in the markets. You're welcome for the Li Auto short, but I didn't make money on it. The 20 was a good level to break down. I know that stock is weak. We'll look to see if we can join it. I'm only in that PSNY, but I'm now on the bid of AMC. I was asked if I liked AMC at $5 like yesterday. It wasn't holding, like it broke $5 and I wasn't in the break. Now it's starting to pull and dip back into VWAP. So when in a weak market, sometimes I like a little bit of these cheeky small cap names to go into the long. But I look over, I'm glad I stopped fighting AMD. It's just continuing to make fresh lows. I don't know where the bottom's going to be on this one. If TSM wants to get down to 165, then I think that's going to be a play for me. Google as well. I do like some Alphabet, but I want to let it get down closer to 175 if we're going to be able to get into it as well. So these are the days you want to be a little bit patient. AMC just pulling back into $5. As I said, the meme name sometimes in a weak market, when they start to go, they can give you a little bit of a trend. PDD's going as well. Just to check back in on Tesla, then I'm going to go to Rivian, $10. Tesla caught a bid at 176. This isn't the level I was looking for, so I can't tell you that I'm long there. Rivian, however, $10 is a thing, and that just held pretty decently at 10.10. So I might take two shots at this. If it holds 10.10 again, I'll try to get on the way back up, 14s or 15s, and stop at 10.10. Otherwise, we'll wait for the $10 level. But the newest position is another meme name. and it is AMC off of VWAP and $5 here. I haven't checked GameStop. I don't know if that's going. AMC was stronger in the afternoon yesterday anyways.
All right, I just hope that this can show you guys, like, you know, sort of what can happen if and when, you know, some of your stops, you know, trigger. Like, if you're going to, you know, get hit on a stock like Apple, and we've already sort of talked about all of this. Like, look at Tesla, right? Makes that move down, but you got to get stopped out at some points, right? So we actually got stopped out at 178. We didn't get out of everything. We wound up holding like 25%, so that's why some of those are downside. But that goes all the way down to 176. So whether or not that was a level you're looking at or not, I don't know. But that could be a stopping point there if the market does just make a little bit of a move down, maybe a 176 or so on Tesla. You know, we've been wrong on it, so pick your poison on that one. Apple did break back down below 189, so I got some out there at 97 right here. Actually, we got a couple outs on Apple, didn't we? Yeah, we got some above 189 here as well. So when that made the move back up, still an L right now for us on Apple, but we're going to wait for that one. Palantir, again, you know, have the stops in place. We're out of this one at O's. So this saved us a little bit there, but it's trying to bounce back to the upside here as well. So maybe we will get some pushes happening. Again, a big trade over here for me on the TQQs. It's been tough, man. I don't know. I feel like most of these names today have just been sort of in the pocket and trying to figure this out. So we're going to have to be very, very patient with all of this as we go. So I'll tell you what I'm up today on my stock. So we're going to be 0 for Apple, 0 there. That's 0 for 2, 1 for 2, 1 for 3, 2 for 3, 2 for 4 with Tesla L. So we're going to go 2 and 4. So 2 for 6, I guess. So 4 losing trades, 2 winning trades on board for me over here as we wait to see what's happening with Apple and Amazon.
Yeah, I just got into Rivian. All 3 of the stocks that I'm in right now are not the ones I was trading at the open, because all of those sort of ran stops, past the levels I liked, trending in the wrong direction, and then suddenly we got into levels that I didn't think were going to have happen, like $10 on Rivian. I'll get to ASTI, or maybe some of these other ones. Bavin, I see people in the chat just throwing symbols at us, but I'm looking for some other ideas that we actually liked off levels for the rest of the week that are starting to come into play. So as I said, Rivian 10, AMC in a trend to the upside. We'll keep tracking Nvidia. I'm not in it. I was actually thinking if we did a dip buy, it would be more along the lines of defending the 10,000. Why do I keep saying 10,000? The $1,000 level, and I was looking at like 994, 995 if we had tested 1,000 on Nvidia. It just never did any kind of a pullback. Like everything else dipped far enough to get you in, except for Nvidia. TSM's back at VWAP, so I don't think we're going to get this 156, at least not presently. So I don't mind jumping into this if we start holding VWAP. I do like TSM today. I think it going red if Nvidia holds up doesn't make a ton of sense. We haven't really talked too much about Snowflake, but it's starting to catch a bit of a bid here as well off the 155. It absolutely tanked. And again, a level that I would have never guessed come back in. 155 support on the daily, the 50 periods here as well. So sometimes the market's going to shock you, and you just have to be able to quickly adjust. So 155 on Snowflake looks like a good spot. It's already bounced one time off that level. ARM and PDD are starting to go. Newest position for me was AMC. And FFIE, I'm not back into it. I told you the condition for getting into that was it holding at about that 130 level where I was long before. So if it can start to do it, I don't mind joining FFIE. It's done 100 million shares. Looks like it's going to have another big volume day.
Okay. Texas. We can look at some Google, but the market just failed off the 50 period there. So we've already been getting out of our TQs, and we got them out pretty much at the 50 period. So that's going to be always a target for us, pretty much as we go. Amazon, again, more 50 periods. Like we just got some out at 20s not too long ago, and then obviously it just dips right back in. And the same story true for Apple, but it didn't get to the 50, so we're kind of trying to wait for that. We just got some more out, though, above 189. I mean, you could see where we're stuck on Apple. I mean, we're hoping that this can get going there. There's it out there at 189.05. Again, the market's going to have to go for us if we're going to try to do anything. What's going on with GameStop here, right here, quickly? Okay, GameStop's back down to 20. I didn't even realize this today.
It's at 20?
That's that bouncing spot. We already wrote down GameStop 20, but we didn't take it today. too, obviously looking at other things and worried about getting run over on other names. But GameStop right now down to $20, trying to come through.
Which is weird because AMC's strong today.
Right now. Yeah, well, that was the case yesterday too, right? When AMC was much stronger. Elf trying to hold as well, obviously. Elf ripping, but yeah, man. I mean, you guys are just gonna get real stuff from me every time. Like, I'll run down to you how I've been trading, what names I've been trading, whether I'm red or green on the day. And it's been a bad day today. Like yesterday, we got hit on Nvidia, and today, like I said, man, we're 2 wins and 4 losses. So not a great day again here today for these names. But you, like I said, you can, if you're looking for that, I'm going to be here for that, so you can ask me. But not good right here. Nvidia heading to VWAP. So, all right, thanks for bringing that up. I mean, this could be one other thing here, that if Nvidia does come back in, it's not heading to VWAP really, but if it does come into 1030, that is a level, that's something that we're going to be looking for, right? So let's wait to see if that can come through. But right now, Amazon's trying to go lower, which is not the greatest trade look for us. Right at the bottoms again. I am going to buy a little bit here of Amazon just because we're at this level. But remember, our stops for this one, breaking through that 182 that we really loved yesterday and nailed yesterday. So hopefully it can hold here. We hit this like once, twice, thrice yesterday. Got it, went back up into 183. So I still think 183 has a little bit of a magnet attached to it. So this has been a good stock for me today. It's been Amazon. Amazon and TQ's 2 green names today. And we'll hope that when we get back from the small cap recap, that we will have Apple above 189 again.
IWM looking a little bit weaker than the NASDAQ and S&P 500 right now, slightly down in the day, trying to curl back up a little bit here. Let's also take a look at some of these small cap runners, including Altamira Therapeutics. CYTO is the ticker for this one, about a 6% short float, trading higher after announcing some publication of highlights from its clinical trial on this social media channel for an allergy journal. So nice look there. We also have ONMD, OneMedNet. This one trading higher, reporting an expansion of more than 5 times of its proprietary network and platform. So nice look there. Last but not least, BCG. This is Bina Capital Group. Not seeing any news on this one, but lots of moves up, steady increase in volume. They do have a float of about 3.28 million shares. So smaller name here, BCG to the upside, guys.
Oh, BCG going up. Like as we said, there's a little bit of relative strength in the squeeze meme names, whatever we're calling them, in AMC, which just held on to VWAP. It just got up to 12s. I took some out there. Looking to reload this. I mean, if it's going to trend up, so be it. Pinduoduo is just, that's not a chase to me. So PDD looks like it's making a turnaround off 160 right now. So that's an absolute rocket ship, but joining that trend this high, I don't think that makes any sense. If we are going to continue to go lower, I said VWAP on Intel, but it's consolidating here instead, which is at 30.75. So I'm going to try and pick up some 70s. I thought we'd get some kind of, I mean, the futures bounced like 50 points. I thought we'd get something to the upside on Intel. Instead, it's just, now it's getting the offer and it just dropped another 5 cents. So I'm going to try and get it at 70s if we can. The other stock, which is relatively weak, is ARM. It just wicked the 112 level, which is weird because that's exactly where the bottom was yesterday. So another relatively weak name. Sometimes when you look at it, it's like in a strong market, you buy high, sell higher, and sometimes in a weak market, you've got to be willing to be short near that low. So I found a level I like on Intel. ARM, I'll have to let it calm down a bit. Its volume and spread is not as conducive. So I like AMC, still looking for that FFIE to hold on to VWAP. It's consolidating down here. I might take a shot at it at 25 just to get in, and then only add if it gets above VWAP. But it's starting to consolidate pretty nicely on FFIE. And ONMD, which was the small cap, it did not break the highs, got right to the pre-market, the pre-market top, and promptly halted down twice now. So ONMD might make a run at this $1 level, where if it does a false break of $1 and holds it, I'd probably try some kind of a long back through, but I'll let that reopen and make a decision. Current tap 112, so it is indicating an open to the south side. PSNY, I'm short 83, it's at 83 on the bid and 83.5 on the offer. And again, it's SSR, so it's kind of holding that level. They can't hit the bid to take it any further down.
All right, if we don't get going pretty soon on some of these markets, man, I mean, we're going to get stopped out again because, okay, well, we've got the TQs. We got reloaded on that one, so let's take a little bit out as this fell back in to our level one more time, and we don't want to be too silly about what we have here on the futures. And again, because, like, if the futures don't go, which is what these, I'm just getting some out here. If the futures don't go, which is what these TQs are, then we're going to get destroyed on everything here anyways. So let's get some more out here on the TQQ and just be like, yes, sir, this is going to be a big positive name for us here today. So far, I mean, I don't know, we keep saying that and then the market turns on us. So let's go. We got the long now on the NASDAQ, bouncing off of that level again. We took a little bit of a risk here, right? So let's wait to see if it will pay off or not. We'll take some out. We did get more shares there kind of out of nowhere. So let's take some out. We just got 25s long. Nice upside move there and able to cash out just a little bit on that one. Sure. We were able to get some more Amazon down low there, but again, this name, frightening, needless to say, because if this breaks back down below 182, I mean, we're not going to be too happy with that one. And the futures aren't doing anything for us right now. We already hit the 50 period and failed off that. I mean, look at the 50. We broke it right there in the pre-market. Nothing we could do about that. And then all of a sudden just kept on cascading down. This is why I'm not super happy. Tried to break it there, you know, and just completely retrace back in. So, I mean, would love a rebound in the market, obviously, but we're going to be pretty cautious around this $18,900 marker or so. So let's be careful here with Amazon, with the futures, with every single position that we have. Like I said, we're juiced up on all of this.
Meanwhile, Nvidia is literally consolidating at the top. It is. This stock is. It's up 9%. Like, look, it is literally a monster. I mean, an absolute beast of a stock currently, and everything else. Thank goodness we got away from AMD.
Like, how do we have no green stocks, but yet Nvidia is so easy?
Look at AMD. Thank goodness we got out of AMD because it's another $2 to the downside. And, you know, in PSNY, I mean, this is probably the easiest short, but at least we finally got into it. I just started taking profit at 81, and I'm on the bid like every cent or so on the way down to the bottom. So if we get back down to the lows, like, it'll be green. But no matter what happens on PSNY, like, this could go to 70 cents from here, and I'm still going to slap a fail on it because, like, the last 2 days, 2 days ago, we saw a 6 million share order sit on the bid all day long at 103. We pointed out in the pre-market. It was like 10 minutes before the open or whatever the hell it was. It broke that in the afternoon. It then resisted that level for 2 days and then has just been breaking down. Today, they actually say that they are delaying their earnings report and just not short in the pre-market. It was kind of weird. All you had to do was put a stop at 1 or 103 and sit in that short trade. So we're in it now because we got the first available pop. But I think that's going to be, for me, that's the biggest disappointment. Not because we missed it seeing it. I paid for the locates just so I could take it and then waited for the open to try to get into it, which it didn't happen until much later. So even if it wins, I think we missed a huge opportunity on Polestar. It can always come back and maybe give us an opportunity to get a second trade, but it is what it is. Short Intel, but I'm giving it to 30.75 because we're short at the absolute bottom. I'm not holding this all the way to VWAP. If we break out above 76, I'm just going to get out. Just want to make sure I have my stop order, which I did not, by the way. And then AMC is trying to bounce off VWAP a second time. I'm sitting here on the bid at 2s, trying to pick some up. I might move to 3s. This has been somewhat trending up. It did go green briefly, back into red. If we hold on to 5, great. If it doesn't, I'm going to get out underneath that 95 level. There was something else I wanted to get to, was TSM. TSM, still chilling at VWAP, can't seem to hold above. If this is going to join any kind of a party of relative strength, it's at least putting in higher lows. Like, AMD is continuing to go lower. This is now putting in higher lows. So I do now like this better than Advanced Micro Devices, but it needs to break back out above 159.
I mean, it's just like, it's just funny because, like, the only 2 green names today, the TQs and the Amazon, are the only ones that are actually doing, like, you know, what I mean, just trade the damn NASDAQ, my guy. There goes TQs. Like, I don't know why I sit there and try to trade equity, honestly. Like, and I know around here, futures has been the widowmaker, But honestly, we've been trading it real good, man, lately, the TQs and the NQs and all that. Like, we just choose TQQ as our poison. But it's been a great trade lately. And again, just try to be patient, especially around this time, man, like 10:30 and change. You know, big opportunity to find levels for the early morning sort of dip buy opportunities or fade the pops or anything like that right now. Again, the NASDAQ has been, look at this trade. Wow. The NASDAQ has been super resilient every day. So this is not, you know, we obviously want to go long. Let's get something out right now at 52 on the TQs. Let's do that again. So PL1 today, it's not even close, will be the NASDAQ. And then PL2 will be Amazon. But this is just hovering, doing absolute. Isn't it pathetic when I can say like Amazon is going to be the second best stock here on the show and it's like in the money 4 cents? Like, it's really been bad today. And I see that in the chat too, that no one's really doing too well. And, you know, just to let you guys know, there's a few guys behind us, but it's been a rough day. So, you know, damn it, that NASDAQ falling down and having the bias early for the long hurt. It's still really early. It's 10:30. I mean, we're here to make money. We're not going anywhere. I'm still holding these positions, and it's because we haven't really broke the levels yet. I mean, we liked 182 down there. You know, so we bought some 25s, obviously. Let's now see where it goes. I mean, to have said, let's wait for our stick, you know, like I say that every damn day, that seems to be working again. But we had Amazon written down there yesterday, 182, today 183. So 182.50 to me is pretty good, and that's where we're long. So let's just stand out for that. We have more shares on Apple right now than whatever. Let's see what happens with Apple back up to the upside here, as we'll see if we can turn Apple's frown upside down and get going back up to the upside right now, especially if this market takes VWAP, then we're all good. We crushed the Qs right now, and we're waiting for Amazon to pop off. So, yeah, look at Nvidia continue to go. What a shame that this is not a much better day, because it's really ridiculous, the move that this has had. And AMD, like, for me to be down on AMD is also...
AMD's red, by the way.
No, I know. I mean, I'm just saying we got out of it, but at the same time, like, so many trades today to have had. All right, let's go over to ADR. It's 10:30.
We're still waiting to hear about those spot Ethereum ETF approvals. The deadline for the Van Eck Ethereum ETF approval is actually today, so I'll have to wait and see and find out. We do have some other crypto news that I'll talk about, which is the passing of that crypto legislation story we were talking about yesterday. That is the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, or FIT 21. Basically, this is, it kind of determines how the blockchains are determined, and makes it a little bit easier for some of these crypto-related blockchains to operate. It is worth noting the SEC does not. The SEC had a little bit of skepticism, and Gary Gensler was a little bit skeptical of this bill, but it has been passed. So the Senate has not officially approved it yet, so it's not been officially enacted as law, but it's been voted in and approved. So nice look there. We also do have Bitcoin here, the BTC chart, continuing to reject off that 71,000 level on the daily, our third straight day to the downside, below that 68,000 level right now. The only like majorly positive name here in the crypto space today is going to be Ethereum. ETH here up over almost 3%, above that 3,800 level. So nice look for ETH. We have slight positivity as well in USDC and Ripple, but a lot of the other names, including Bitcoin, to the downside, guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, you saw the move in some of the, like, early on, the crypto names, like 70,000 failed, 4,000 obviously, and HE failed. So it was a point I was actually flat. It's like, okay, all the early trades got past their levels and stopped out. Some of them pretty reasonable because we didn't really hold them that far. And then AMD was a different story because we had like 3 different times. And then wait for it and then work back into some positions. So Intel short off the bottom. If it holds the consolidation, it's probably going to get to VWAP, but otherwise we're going to play it off of this low. TSM, we did say we're looking for a long if it can hold VWAP, so it just broke out of VWAP right now. So we're going to go long off of that break, looking for a move back into 160. Nvidia just broke a fresh high, probably head to 1,050. Surprising to me if TSM is going to go red on the day, but it never got to 156. That's the level we like. So set up the next trade, which is higher lows, showing some strength in there. So that's what it was. I double checked with Adair about the deadlines. It was the Van Eck deadline today. It's the ARC application for the ETH deadline is tomorrow. I knew I had read that 1 was tomorrow, but yeah, the VanEck is going to be today. So watch out for any headlines dropping with them. Going to get an offer out at the $0.50 on TSM and then see how far that one does want to go. As I said, we're short Intel. Rivian came back into the 10 level. We let it get into 10, and then we went for the long at 01s in here. I actually had a stop that punched in at 99 before it went. I just got out flat at 99, paid some fees, but I'm now back in it at 10.01. Gonna give it to the 95 level, and that's it. Playing off this 10 bounce from the last, I mean, umpteen days, but it's been like a triple bottom this week. You can go back even further on the daily where this 10 level has been holding on Rivian. Didn't think it would come into play after the rally it had, but the market has said otherwise today.
We just made back a lot of money. All right, let's just see what happens now. Look at the futures. Look at the damn futures right now, man. We're doing good on this one. Nice little hold to the downside. Let's see if it can continue to go back to the upside right now. We talked about turning our frown upside down. I mean, Apple is trying right now to make this guy a happy dude right now. Let's see if Apple can go right back up to the upside. So here we go, man. So far, not so good. What's up, Adara?
Live Nation to the downside here. The DOJ, Department of Justice in the U.S., has officially filed a suit to break up Live Nation, which is the parent company of Ticketmaster. This was initially reported as a possibility earlier today, but as of 10:30, they have officially filed. Worth noting as well here, we are down about 6% here on LYV. They're basically saying it's a monopoly, and that's why they're trying to break this apart, guys.
Yes, they are a monopoly, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, they should be. I mean, they should have looked into that already. Like,
yeah, it's
the fees that Ticketmaster charges is quite exuberant, really? But you know what? People are paying them as the retail still continues, the consumer continues to be so damn strong. So we can check out Live Nation, LYV, I believe. Yeah, there it is, Live Nation. So again, they've had a nice little run up into that 108 area, and then a nice little fade down. So yeah, this news coming today, not really great, but we've already been down to these levels before. I would say this is not a stock that you would buy in and around $88 with that kind of news, but I don't think this is even that big of a move down 6%. I mean, look, these guys know what they're doing. This is going to be a battle back and forth, and let's go right now for Apple. Ooh, man, we're now back into the pocket here. I mean, what was a bad day there. Because we use a lot of shares, obviously we've made back a lot of money, but we're still down because we use a lot of shares. So there is a difference to all of that, right? I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You could trade, smaller shares and lose whatever, $50, $100 a day, or make that much. At the end of the month, it's about looking down and seeing what you're up. And if you can make a living wage the way you're trading, then great. If not, try to change it up. I'm trying to make more and more money every day, so I'm using more and more shares. So right now, obviously when things don't work out, it sucks, but I still feel very confident in what we're doing right now. Amazon trying to get back up to the upside right here. We're now 50 cents in the money on a position that we believe in. So that's what's happening right there. Apple as well. We got out of stocks we didn't believe in, and unfortunately that was Tesla. That was a good move. See how we haven't gone back to that one. That's still to the downside. I still like Palantir, but once that broke 21, we're staying away from that. And then the puzzling stock, obviously, of the day is AMD because, again, get away from the stocks you don't believe in. Stay with the ones that you do. Neil, that's how you turn your day around. And we're going to have a big, big winner with Amazon. I mean, this is going to be a big one. It is definitely carrying the day for me here, as is the market. And we continue to run up numbers on that as well. So let's take another out right now at 66 on the TQQ. We'll mess up our Tesla. It's really, honestly, my whole day is really Tesla. It was really going long and believing this 178. If you get rid of Tesla, I'm right back into the pocket where we normally are, but we did get smoked there on Tesla. And hey, look, if you're looking for an honest trader, hopefully we're the ones that provide that to you. So again, that's what I'm doing. Here to tell you, we're going to be 2 and 4 today. Not great.
Yeah, you just got to grind it back. And whatever your style might be. Like, to me, most of the stocks that don't immediately work, the only stock that didn't immediately work that I took it multiple times, obviously was going to be AMD. But try to keep the others small and then find a way to grind back. Like yesterday was able to grind most of it back, but it was all day. It was an all-day process. Like, it took all the way until the close and then still was slightly red. But we did get most of it back, but in small pieces, like just find the next trade. Rivian 10, like if this gets back into VWAP, you grind a little bit back there. We're still in that TSM to the long side. FFIE, by the way, is now above VWAP. So this is what we're looking for in FFIE. I wanted the strength, get back up. If I never got into it, I mean, whatever. We picked Nvidia. That's why we picked Rivian to jump into off of 10 because it was a big level, but also over VWAP in here in FFIE. That's a name which is trending. I'll look for the next available dip to try to get back in. We got it on the way down instead of the way up, but the same principle is going to hold for me, where I want to get these squeeze names, before they break out. Like instead of taking it through 150, which I'm not saying it gets to 150, but if it breaks 150, I don't want to be taking a 151 or 152 fill. I want to be long going into that and considering if I want to add to it. I think that's a little bit more reasonable. So if we get that, we'll take our shot in Faraday here. I'm still on the bid. AMD is absolutely, so there's just nothing on the bid of AMD. Like we're at yesterday's lows now. Like this started out with a good dip buy. It got to a resistance level at 173 that I didn't even pay attention to. I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'm not trading it off of that level. And now look at it just continuing to drop lower and lower. I don't think there is much of a bid on this bad boy at this point today. I think if you're looking for a long on AMD, I think you're going to have to continue to show an absolute ton of patience because that's just a huge fail. And even on the daily, it's now lost the 50 period again. This is the last week where it's been holding down here. So if it is able to bounce and I can see some strength, I don't mind taking a shot at it, but I need to see it level off. It's 1040. That's the time to not be sitting on the falling knife. It's a time to be looking for a consolidation. And there's been absolutely none of that yet on Advanced Micro Devices, which I said was the #1 stock I was going to trade today. And I'd be making the most trades. Let's go over to Sector Watch, I believe it is, with ADRs.
Wow, what?
We actually do have the future slightly positive on the day, but you might not be able to tell when looking at this sector board. Of course, Nvidia and some of these semiconductor names leading a lot of this move to the upside. Nvidia with that earnings report announcing, among other things, a 10-for-1 stock split and a 150% increase in their dividends. So nice look there. Also some strength as well in producer manufacturing, AMAT, Lam Research all to the upside as well. Health technology a bit more mixed, and then we get to the sectors that are generally negative. Finance to the downside as a group. Lots of weakness here in utilities, consumer durables, transportation, consumer services, health services. A little bit more mixed or flat here in commercial services. Retail trade as well. Keep an eye out. We're going to have some more retail earnings, including Costco, coming up in the next few weeks. So keep an eye on that one as well. Communications a little bit more muted too. So quite a few sectors to look at. A lot of them going to be more to the downside, with the exception of a lot of these semiconductor-related names, guys.
All right, I was just looking back at Big Patty Ice because yesterday he's like, don't worry, you know, when we had that bad Nvidia trade early on and then we managed to make back pretty much half of our day there, we gave some back at the end. And then right now, the same sort of thing just happened again. I ran into this dude. You want to talk about having positive vibes all the time. I know Sharif passed that note on to me a couple weeks ago, and I appreciate that for sure. But at the end of the day, what Neil and I are trying to talk about here is we could have bad days. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Like, you can ask us whatever you want. I just told you about being honest. But it's about still being in a pocket, right? Like being able to say, all right, I'm looking down there. We've gotten hit on some of the ideas, but at the same time, you know, we've respected our stops. We understand the losses that we've been taking on, and that is what it is. So again, if you want to make money, it's like you have to risk it for the biscuit, right? And so some days these trades aren't going to work out for you, but if you stay in the pocket and you trade what you like, then it's all good. Neil and Randy having a fit over here about Polestar, but it is down. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's down huge today, and Randy nailed that one. Again, the two smartest traders on the show today, Randy and my wife.
Well, she had a long idea of the word. Randy just said no to everything positive. Like, that was the answer, which was the right answer.
So she's 1 for 1, you're 1 for 1.
No. Like, it's getting, look, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely getting destroyed. What was that symbol? Anyways, I just heard something in my ear. I didn't catch it. We'll get back to it.
Congrats on 100%, my guy.
But that is, it's insane. The no came out. The market said no. And the dead cat, I mean, unless you're looking for dead cat bounces, everything has been more or less trend down that isn't NVIDIA, PDD, ELF, and there's something else, maybe some meme stocks. That's
Amazon's
pretty much it.
Big winner.
We almost got, I'm getting most of Rivian out in front of VWAP. You're seeing a trend to the downside. I want to respect said trend. So as it gets back up into like the 9s and 10s, it's just a matter of what's the next trade. So we went long at the bottom at 10.01, kind of giving it to the local low. The bottom here is like $9.98. It's bounced a few times the last couple of days, but at least that's set up. Wait for it to get to that level. If it trades off of it nicely, great. If it doesn't, move on to the next. If you think it's only, like I was mentioning Li Auto as a breakdown trade for the short, didn't work because I got out of it too fast. NEO, 10%, okay, 9.4% to the downside. That's going to be SSR at some point today. I think it's $4.70. If it breaks the current low, the stock goes short sell restricted. So that's going to be on the radar for a possible SSR bounce. It is getting nasty. And then remember the aforementioned Li Auto, still holding underneath the up. I had this one short on a 20 break. Probably just got out of it too early there. I didn't get out of it too early. It didn't hold 20. But that last time that it held VWAP, that's a re-entry almost every single time. But you got to just move on to what the next trade is going to be. FFIE, we did get into that one. Eventually off of VWAP here at 30s. It just tagged 35. I have offers going into the high of the day. And want to be long if it breaks out the high on Faraday futures. This is also up, but again, it doesn't care what the market's doing. The market has been trend down, despite Nvidia holding up rather nicely.
All right. Yeah, not much else to talk about right now, except for maybe what's for lunch. So let's just do that. All right, what's for lunch today is spicy sweet and sour pork with Asian noodles. So we were one day early on the Asian talk. Yesterday was some kind of a hoagie. I didn't see what it was. I went out for lunch with my parents, and then I did manage to go get some from the other side and give it to the boys over here because that's what we're all about. So it was some sort of a sub there yesterday, but today it's spicy sweet and sour pork with Asian noodles. So that's pretty good. And that's for you, hamster. There it is right there. That is your what's for lunch. I mean, and in like, again, Sean misses by a penny. We were waiting at 65.84. Why would we be there? Well, that's exactly where VWAP is. Next time, wait at a couple pennies lower. So we missed that VWAP take on the TQQs. Again, TQ, Amazon, big winners here today. Unfortunately, the losers will overtake those two for me. Send some love your way. What's up, Big Rob? There you go. Big Rob gets the love in the chat. What's up, Adara?
On Amazon here, AMZN announcing that they're going to be deorbiting two prototype satellites of their Kuiper satellite after having some successful broadband internet tests. So a little bit of satellite news here for AMZN. Might be worth a watch, guys.
Look, 160, like really? This is really starting to...
Nvidia, the easiest trade.
It's already parabolic to the downside in respect because it's the polar opposite. This is down and at the lows and continuing to tank. Nvidia is about to break 1,050. Just very quickly, IBIT here.
Cruising with that trade.
What's going on with IBIT? IBIT, load. Bitcoin here about to take out the low of the day and continuing lower. At this point, I mean, if Faraday's starting to get back into that high, if it does a top break, the plan of action is to hold some for a break of 150. And then if it fails that break, look to buy another dip. If it's going to be trend up, Faraday has generally been really good buying dips off of false breakouts. It didn't work the first time through, but we're back in it off of VWAP, and then Rivian. Rivian continues to hold right at 10.10. So have another offer out in front of VWAP. That's at 10.14. If it breaks, then we'll hold on for a piece to continue to go higher. But even this is like it's a dead cat bounce. Anyway, any stretch of the imagination. It's just absolutely ridiculous how weak the market has been overall. Even Tesla holding the lows, it's finding support at 176. Generally speaking, catching a falling knife, I need to like that level for another reason. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. I thought the next stop would be a 73. So I'm not really looking at Tesla again. Of course, Tesla not a very good stock today. AMD's worse for me because I felt like hit the tighter to the chest, at least a little bit on Tesla. But that's at least $2 or $3 away from where I'd like to get in again on TSLA. They don't seem to like the Shanghai news, but it was the market selling off in a general sense, not just Tesla.
All right. Man. Just looking for
Coinbase.
some stuff here. All right.
I saw in the chat, Pat just said AMD explain. You know what? Things don't have to make logical sense. You can spin any story you want after. Like I could make something up about, well, Nvidia is so strong, they're keeping share from AMD, their margins were 69% or whatever, a couple of points higher, so therefore that's going to be bad for the competitors. But the price action was to the downside. You know, the market didn't like it, and you just got to leave it at that. So, you know, I was wrong thinking that AMD was going to go with Nvidia. I thought it would be a reasonable bounce play, holding on to some strength. You can weave any story you want after that. It's just ultimately the price action showing you how heavy it is.
No, it's obvious. AMD is an inferior company to Nvidia. I mean, their numbers are nowhere near what Nvidia's are. So, I mean, it's just they're showing you that AMD is actually not operating that efficiently because of the margins that Nvidia is throwing out. So people are obviously just selling AMD. I mean, it's like you could be in the same business, but then if you're getting dummied by them, then it is what it is. I mean, if they have a huge order book for Nvidia, then that means guess who's not getting the orders? I mean, there's just, to me, you're trading right now. In hindsight, it's easy, but again, when you're looking at it here, I don't even want to buy this name. No way, no how. This is getting crushed. Not the same stock, right? Not all are the same. I mean, you guys see that every day, you know, on the show. Everybody trades differently.
ARM's
yeah,
below the day.
NVIDIA is where all the money's going. That's it. It's all going to NVIDIA, and it's coming out of everything else. I mean, why would you want to hold anything else right now? Micron's obviously DRAM. That's a little bit of a bad example. TSM was all the way to the upside today, probably still holding out. No. TSM faded that move. They were up 3 or 4%, downside as well. But you know what's really cruising right now? We've got it right now. It's $1 on AMZN. And look, I'm just honestly like, to be able to have found these two big winners, at least today, is something. So I'm pretty happy to be able to show you guys at least some of those. As we've been pounding the table on Amazon, we talked all about that. Was the #1 trade yesterday. It's going to be the #1 P&L trade today. It's not even, like I said, there's 2 green names, so what else? You see the TQs. Although we should have put more shares on the TQQ, we also missed our opportunity to get out there. The market is tank city right now, so we're going to have to get some more out here on Amazon just in case we're wrong. We just missed, again, VWAP up there on Amazon. So let's get some more out here. Hopefully it'll start to rip back up as the futures are going dance, dance, dance right now. Good out for us finally as we get that 70 on Apple. So all good on that one, but the market's coming back in. Let's go find out what's going on with with Money Talks and Adara.
Yeah, XY continuing to grind higher here on the daily chart. We did wick down a little bit. We're coming back to that area. We've been steadily pushing towards that 105. So nice look here for the DXY on the daily. Lots of economic data to talk about in a week that's otherwise been pretty light on economic data prints. We did have those PMI flash. Global Composite, S&P Global Composite coming in 54.4 versus 51.1 estimate. Global U.S. manufacturing 50.9 versus 50 estimate. Global services PMI flash coming in 54.8 versus 51.2 estimate. So we did see a bit of move down in the market. We got these prints coming in at 945, all higher than expected. We also did get initial jobless claims a bit lower than expected here, 215,000 versus 220,000 expected. Also lower were the U.S. home sales. So compared to the prior number, 5.4% for April, for month over month new home sales coming in negative 4.7%. We do have some economic data on watch tomorrow as well. We're getting the University of Michigan consumer sentiment coming in at 10 a.m. This could be interesting because we did have a much lower than expected number coming in last time, which did bring the markets a bit to the downside, so this will definitely be a print to watch. Also some Fed speak to keep an eye on as well. 3 p.m. today, we're getting Fed's Bostic at 9:30. 5 a.m. tomorrow, we're going to get Fed's Waller, guys.
Yeah, some talkers there. That the market rolled back into the lows. I punched some out instead of getting filled at VWAP on Rivian. I just punched some out there at 6 on the way back in. I don't know if I want to reload this at 10. We'll play it by ear. The market has to show some kind of a bounce. It's a great level, at least on the daily chart, but this can play in both ways. Like if you break this, all of a sudden you've got like the floodgates opening up. Like this is kind of like an Alamo level for the stock. Faraday just came back as well into VWAP. It doesn't tend to care what the market's doing, but it just dipped along with it anyways. Back into VWAP, I reloaded 32s. Technically before I had 31s, but at that point it's a distinction without a difference, I should say. We do not hold VWAP on Polestar, so I just got out of that one. If it gets up to $1, I'm going to try to put the trade on out in front of $1 as well on PSNY. I just had to pay for more locates because I just realized that we didn't have everything we wanted, and we do not have them free on Polestar. The other thing which is making a bit of a move is 160 on AMD. So in talking about stocks being weak and talking about things looking nasty, it's gotten very, very parabolic on advanced micro devices. Don't really have any obvious levels other than this was resistance on the daily chart, and it's an even number as well. But it's getting very nasty with them. And then Snowflake was an earnings play. It's bouncing off the 50. I had said support was at 155, and then 50 periods at 57. I was looking for a bid off the 55. With the market pushing down, I don't see any reason to not wait for it to get to a 155. But the big level on the daily chart for that stock. So Rivian back into 10. I'm not on the bid for a reload. I want to see it bounce off 10 first. And then Faraday off of VWAP. We're going to hang on to that.
All right, so it's going to be, wait a minute, TQ 6503. Okay, so we do have some shares on the TQs right now. I'm just making sure that it's just crazy that we missed that fill rate there by less than a penny because it went to 84. We just didn't get filled. And then now the market's dropped right back into the low. So I'm going to test the low again here. Again, we said that sometimes when it gets to this 10:30 to 11 o'clock, you can look for retracements, but we got one. But it failed at VWAP again. I mean, how important is VWAP? I mean, we talk about that all the time. That was the very first thing that I told Adara was make sure you look at VWAP if you're going to look at anything. So that's what we did look at there. But here we go. We are getting hit. Whoops, the TQs just fell out. So we just broke through. Okay, I was just like, are we breaking through 65? Yes, we are right there. So here, a little bit of a bounce back there on TQQs. That was just so quick there at 65. Let's try it again. We're still up on the TQQs, but that was a dip down in on that name. So let's wait to see here how much lower we can go because we are starting to break right now lower on this market. So yeah, so far so good. For the shorts, the longs have had a tough road to hoe so far as we've given some back there. I mean, we were really cruising with AMD and with Amazon and Apple. It's a good thing we took advantage of that all the way up, and definitely a few outs up there at 183 and change. So Amazon, Apple, and now the market is what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, and speaking, it's not, well, the market's going, Chinese ADRs are also going to the downside. Man. Now, Li Auto, we wanted this one off. I've canceled offers to try to get this back into that 20 level, and we'll just have to look for a little something else. I think this could go, it has potential to go 10%. It's through that trend line bottom, that $20 level on Li. This was pretty much the only short outside of Polestar idea that we're looking for in the pre-market because of said weakness in those Chinese ADRs and specifically the EV name. So I guess next available pop is where it's going to have to be. But FFIE hopefully is not going to follow the market. I would be concerned that Rivian would. I just punched them out at 6, and then it's holding a higher low. So that would be a decent sign for Rivian, but that doesn't negate the fact that we're in a downward trend on the stock. So I got to be cautious trying to buy it again going into that weakness. If there's anything else that's getting a little bit better, you guys let us know. Because I look over, like I'm in Rivian, I'm like, okay, I'm not on the bid. Tesla's about to hit 175. If it breaks that, I don't give a darn what Rivian's support is. It's probably going to go down with it. So Tesla's trying to bounce off 175. That would be good and give me more reasons to maybe go into the long again off of $10 on Rivian. But that's almost like a gimmick kind of trade. It's because 10's a big level more than anything else. You get to $5, $10, $15, those are always going to be big. FFIE's holding up. I just got the reload at 32s. I'm going to get back on the offer in the mid-30s. It could be that kind of a day where it's something like this that is the only way the long is going to work, and everything else in the market is just going to continue to head into the downside. Is what it is. I can look for a short to pop, but if I don't get it, like I said, Li Auto, I just don't want to continue chasing this to the downside. I want to see if we can get a pop, and then I have an out in front of like 1985 or something.
All right, yeah, it seems like, the market was just at highs. I mean, we talked about that yesterday, all-time highs, and today, we even wrote it down on our thing that watch out because the market is starting to get real juiced up there today, but I thought it was gonna go even further. So, I mean, who knows about me being right today, that's for sure. But we're still doing okay. I mean, like I said, we've given some back now because those TQQs are now down $1 from where we had them earlier. But yeah, not great. And we're just gonna, so I was just looking right here. Let's just see if yesterday holds. It's right into here, like kind of like yesterday's closing area, 64.60. But we just pushed up and then just came right back. See, we pushed up into 80s there. And I was like, okay, maybe we're stopping and finally getting back up to the upside. But no, this is a triple NASDAQ ETF. So this is like very, very violent. So like one little bit move down in the NASDAQ and this thing will wipe itself out. So we already do have an out, 10 cents lower than this. Last try for some dip buys for now, and then calm down, regroup, and get back at it because right now there is a downside push here happening, obviously in the market. And it's probably this time, I just want to look at
Rivian's coming, no, sorry, NVIDIA is coming down.
Right, yeah, Rivian, yeah. NVIDIA down, yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So maybe this time it's actually making some sense as the market is giving it up here with NVIDIA as well. But they're not. I mean, NVIDIA's up 10%. I mean, we've already talked about it right there. The dip into VWAP, that's 1 for 1. The dip into VWAP is 2 for 2. The dip into VWAP is about to happen again at 10:32. So that would be maybe the line in the sand that you draw at some point for NVIDIA, maybe 10:30. Those bottom wicks right there, 10:25 would be the 200 period. That looks interesting to me right here as well. So, all right.
Before we get out of
yeah, for sure. We've got Amazon, and again, Amazon, the only green name today.
Yeah, well, it remains to be seen on Rivian. We'll see about that one. If it breaks 10, I've held on to some. It is what it is. We're 1 for 2 on that stock anyways. And the same thing with FFIE. Like, this trade is winning, but we already took 1 out on it. Bitcoin low of day. ETH, there was a note from Gensler. Again, they didn't specifically talk about the ETF, and ETH got a bit of a ramp to the downside. If you're looking at the individual names, I just want to go over Coinbase, now down at $220, double bottom on coin. And this is kind of like another sort of Alamo-ish level. It just failed the 50 period. So if you don't think things can get worse, when you look at some of these charts and pull them back, like coin looks nasty if it doesn't hold $220. Again, I'm only in some squeeze names, and that's all we're playing with to the long side at this point. But let's get on over to Learn to Trade. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, no questions about it. But it is time for Adara and Sharif. Sans the jacket. This has been a perfect day to remind everybody, if you wore the leather jacket, that it's an NVIDIA kind of day, and it really has been. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let's go get them.
Yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show.